Bye. Assalamualaikum. Testing.
Waalaikumsalam.
Ada jawab Abu Salam?
Waalaikumsalam.
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 We wait for our speaker to come in first. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to all participants.
Salam.
Wassalam.
Okay, so we will start our afternoon session for Module 5. The title is the Research Ethics and Safety by Associate Professor Dr. Hasnor binti Abdul Malik, and then take over by Associate Professor Dr. Yong Soon Kong. Dr. Kasno, if you are ready, we may start.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To Madam Chairperson, sorry I missed your name earlier. So yes, thank you very much for the invite and welcome to all the new postgraduates candidates of UiTM. My name is Hasnor and I would like to update and give some information with regards to your as part of your research journey related to ethics. So what we'll be doing is that we'll just go through an overview of ethics procedures and what it is. Okay. So let me just introduce to you who are our team members. So ethics is basically help. Yep. The secretariat are part like the research management centers, and the team that let me just use a pointer. Yeah. So this is the team. Okay, the unit for unit ethics and publications is led by Professor Dr. Insignio Dr. Alizon, and under her we have the sub-unit ethics and sub-unit publications. So under the ethics is myself, and we have two EO, executive officers, Cik Amal as well as Miss Nisa, who will be most likely be the person whom you'll be calling and speak to if you call us. And then we have two clerks, Puan Ainul as well as Puan Amy, we call her, who are helping us. We also have our research officer, Cik Hisham also. So this is in kind of like a nutshell the working bodies, but the ethics committees are different people. So the ethics committee is directly under the vice chancellor, and there are around 21 body members, and the chairperson is our Professor Emeritus, Dr. Raymond Azman Ali, who chair the research ethics committee. So for your information, there are two levels of ethics committee who will be reviewing all ethics proposal and providing approval. If you are the postgraduate or you are staff or you are applicants from outside, so your application will go through UiTM REC, Research Ethics Committee, and we will nominate reviewer from the team to review a proposal. If the proposal is from undergraduate or master by coursework, it will go through ethics review committee. Okay, so there are two entities there. Right. So let's just go through briefly what ethics is, responsibility. So basically, it is not just UiTM who actually are looking at ethics point of view in research. So we actually base our ethical principles, SOPs, and procedures on international regulations. Okay, And there is this, I think you can have a look at the how the story came about. Okay, so basically what is the role of the Research Ethics Committee or ERC is that we are looking for the ethical conduct for any proposal that involve human participants, right? And the committee is there to approve, reject your proposal, and then we really go through a very stringent ethical processes to look at it, and we have guidelines, term of references that you also can access to from our website. For example, we have here Research Ethics Committee and Researchers Guidelines. Yeah. So who needs to apply? Mention everyone who does ethics on human participants, right? And why do you need ethics? Is that because nowadays a lot of publication will request an ethical approval ID before publication. So you will need, even if you feel that your research doesn't need ethics approval, you need to request for an exemption, which you will be subjected to a review process as well, and be given an ID from the ethics committee to say that your study is exempted from ethics approval. So that also needs to go through a process to be granted approval for exemption. So what are the ethical issues as researchers that you must be aware of? So basically, if you want to know what to look at, is that in general, you just have to think about what is the right thing to do for human. Okay, so human in the research means it's for the participants that you are recruiting, what are the right thing to do, and also for you yourself, researchers and co-researchers. All right, so you must do the right thing for the participants from A to Z, yeah, from the beginning until the end of the research. And then you must because any research conducted may impose risks to human. So as researcher, with the help of your supervisors, it is very important to anticipate what sort of risks that during the research it may be imposed on the participant. Think hard about what are the potential risks, and then identify them. Once you identify the risks, important to come up with the plan of how to minimize the risks that you have thought of. Okay. So when we talk about human ethics, so we are talking just about human. If you are doing research on animal, your research application should go to UITM care, yeah. If you are doing research with regards to biosafety, chemical, then you have to go and apply through the biosafety ethics board, yeah, in UITM. So how do you determine if your research needs ethics approval? So you may is first is if it has anything to do with humans, whether directly or indirectly, very likely that you will need an ethics approval. So other things that you can have a look at is looking at the title itself, the objective, what sort of objective that you are trying to answer, what are the key questions, and looking at your methodology of how you collect the data, whether directly from human or using secondary data um, um, from database in relation to humans participants. And then along the way, it's very important to think about other ethical problems that you may identify along the way during your research planning on the participants. And other things that you want to build is building trust, yeah, with your participants, being transparent of what you want to do. So these are some, but not all, of a point that you may want to consider when you want to design a proposal to touch on the ethical conduct, right? For example, in the informed consent, it is very important that you design it in such a way that it is very understandable, that for the intended participants, you have all the relevant information displayed to them, so that they are able to agree or disagree to join the study with an informed consent, right? And that is important that your research able to keep the confidentiality and anonymize the patient as as good as you can. And then things that you may want to see is that is your research harming at any time? There's a potential to harm the candidate, and the research must be conducted in such a way that the participant, even if they have signed the consent form to be included in the study, that they feel that freely to withdraw from the study at any point of time without being penalized. Okay, so if you look deeper into the methodology, then you may be able to see whether your research needs ethics approval. Okay, we mentioned earlier that anything that involves human, chances is that you will need ethics approval. If you are interviewing participants, doing questionnaire or surveys, yeah, or analysis of human, but through social media, there is guidance that you can have a look. It has its own guiding principles. So we have down here listed some reference that you can have a look at. And these are other methodology ways that you may be questioning yourself whether this is related to human study or not. Okay, if you are encroaching to any of these example of methodology, then chances is you will need ethics approval. So, when we are dealing with human, they are not generic. There are certain vulnerable groups, yeah, which require some detailed planning, yeah, especially if your participants are categorized as patients, so they are vulnerable because they're not well, or children under the age of 17, vulnerable adults. So these are people whom you can say that are vulnerable. For example, I would say that OKU is vulnerable. People with living with HIV are vulnerable people. Disability like physical disability or mentally challenged. So those are vulnerable populations. Or anyone engaged in criminal or illegal activities, or prisoners and things like that. Okay. Or even if you are actually looking at websites into participants related to vulnerable groups. So this is just distributions, people who are vulnerable. So be aware that people who are vulnerable will be scrutinized. You have to really scrutinize how would your research cause harm to these people, and how can you minimize the risk. Okay, and not only you, but the ethics committee also would like to know a little bit more detail of how you're going to conduct and also safeguard participants in your research. So how about exemption from research approval? You can be exempted from ethics, applying for ethics, but you must prove that the data that you are collecting, for example, secondary data, not all can be exempted, but those who are aggregated meaning that data that you pull out from such databases that you're not able to identify them. Identify meaning that you have lost information with regards to name, IC, or hospital number. So anything that linked to individual ownership of data, then that would be aggregated data. So that would be secondary data that can be exempted. Okay. So let's plan. How do you want to apply? So the first thing is that there will be a checklist to know whether we will have a checklist for you to do, and then you will need to submit your application through a RED system. Okay, it is available here, recuitm.edu.my. This is a website, informative website where you can access and you can have a look at all the guidelines and manual, and it will also lead you to go to RED system. I'll let you know a little bit about the pathway. Okay, and the RED is an online system where you will have to key in all information, and then through the system it will be used by the reviewer to review and be commented on from there, and then you will reply on the reviewer's comment via the system as well. Through the system as well, you will be able to receive your approval letter, so you just have to retrieve it from there. Okay, so as you see here, just to summarize that we have two ethics board. One is the REC looking at the postgraduate by research of next mode, and the ERC and application to REC, like you guys, postgraduate will go through RED system. Okay, so RED system is where you guys will be going to. Those who are doing undergraduate or master by coursework will have to do it outside the system through hard copy and email. Okay, so in the ERD system, basically there's no hard copy except if you want to apply for exemption. It's still manually, you have to download the information from the website, the form, and then submit it via email through your faculty for exemption. But others, you will have to go through the system and then you just fill the form online. So this is an example, the front page of where the RED system is. And then if you go to the website, our informative website, you'll be able to see there's a manual system here. Pemohon is for you, the applicants, and you can have a look at it. There'll be very detailed step by step of how to go through it. But I think with your generation, I think you'll be able to sail through without much problem. And then you just use your UITM student email and log in through the system and start your application. So let's go through the flow chart. Your application, if you need an ethics application, basically there are three ways that of category, whether it's minimal risk research, more than minimal risk research, or exemption. So more than minimal risk research would involve those participants who are in the vulnerable group. And minimal risk research minimal risk and doesn't involve the vulnerable groups. Okay, and the minimal risks normally take around 2 months. Give time. Please allocate enough time. Research ethics application does take time. Plan it well ahead of time. Make sure you submit at least 2 months before. Okay, but for more than minimal risk, if your application reviewed by the reviewer found that your application is more than minimal risk, you need to extend your time, meaning that because you will need to present it online to the board, and the presentation is only happening once a month online, so that would extend it into your timeline. So give it another extra 1 month, yeah, in total 3 months, yeah. So 2 months, please, for your data collection. Allow an additional 2 months at the time when you apply your ethics before you start your data collection date. Okay, all right. So this is a flow chart if you are submitting from undergraduate, which you are not. So let's go through the form. Form is typically is just like a proposal, but we also kind of like trying to guide you to think about what are the risks that potentially you may cause or how to your participant, and see whether this will lead to either minimal risk or more than minimal risk. Okay, so so as usual, please put in the title, put in the background, problem statement, references. Yep. And you can take what are the methodology, summary of methodology used. In clinical trial, here, kajian intervention, I think clinical trial, unless you have to discuss with your supervisors which methodology best suit your study. Okay. Okay. Further on, okay, what should I summarize here? Okay, here exclamation mark. So date of research commencement and end is quite long. So research can start at the time when you were thinking about your research. So it can be much earlier on and ends when you have finished your data collection, analyzing, publication. But data collection is something, please pay attention. You can only collect your data after you have received your ethics approval. So since ethics approval takes time, 2 to 3 months, please put your expected date of data collection 2 months at least at the time after you have initiated your data applications. Okay, so you will have your inclusion, exclusion criteria, be very brief but very detailed, so that the viewer can understand your proposal better. Okay, similarly, please put your sample size. Tell us how you come up with your sample size, because we don't want you to recruit any more than you need. Yeah, and then please provide us with the summary of your method, summary with the flow chart, so we know your processes. Okay, summary. Okay, right. If you have a grant, please do inform us here, and then let us know if you have any information with regard your co-researchers. So here is basically a form where online where you tick and decide whether it is actually applicable to your research or not. So you must tick. You either tick yes or no. Okay. So it gets you to think a little bit. For example, does any of the data collected have the potential to cause discomfort, embarrassment, psychological harm to participant? No, you say no. If yes, you say yes. If at any point of this rows, you say yes, please describe. For example, maybe here you can say that yes, the questionnaire used is good enough, right, to screen and diagnose anxiety, for example, or depression. So it's risks that your study may identify, meaning that you are responsible to the outcome. So if a patient fill up the questionnaire and assess at risk of getting depression or anxiety, what would the study do to minimize the risks? You can't reverse, right, people from having anxiety to not having. So you can have a plan. For example, patient who score high in anxiety or depression will then be informed that they will be guided to go and see the doctor for further kind of like assessment. Okay, so that must be clear. So how are we going to do that? You may want to inform beforehand to the participant in the patient information sheet that will happen, and if it happen, the chances that you will be referred to the doctors. Okay, and another way is that to make your research safer is that to have someone in the medical background as one of your co-researcher to help monitor this kind of outcome. Okay, so please, each and every row, please give enough information, give enough time for you to digest and think about it together with your supervisor. Okay, and then your proposal will need to be presented first at the department or postgraduate research committee, and let's know whether you have done it or not. Okay, these are just information because we do not have any form for RAC, so I'm using the outside the system form. So BRC doesn't really apply to you, but it is technically similar information being asked also for RC. So make sure you sign, and then the online system will also ask you to fill up a patient information sheet. So you will need to put English and Malay. Whether or not you are not getting any English speaking participant, please fill up the English version because the system will want you to do so. Okay, if you have participants in using a different kind of language like Indian, Cantonese or whatnot, please give us an additional document as an attachment for us to have a look at it. Okay. So this is an example of the patient information sheet. Do you see here how important it is to be very brief but very informational for the participants, because once they read this, they should basically have a total understanding of what they are signing themselves into, and then they will sign here on the right side. On the right side, you don't have to change anything. This is basically good enough for you to maintain for the participant to sign. If the patient is younger than 18, a minor, so you will need to use the SN form. SN form in much smaller, simpler form for the younger participants to understand what they are enrolling themselves from and get their signature here. Of course, for those underage, you will need to get the parental consent as well. Okay, so this is a application form outside the RED system for exemption. So which you can download from the REC UITM website, and then download, submit it to us via email through your faculty. Okay, this is an example of the forms. Okay, just to, once you've done that, then you'll sign, your faculty will sign that they have reviewed, stamp, and then only we start the process. So to let you know what the process is. So this is where the REC is, okay, in the middle of everything. So you may think that, oh, it is very fast. No, actually, because you will have to go through your department, faculty, and then only you start going through with us for reviewing. So we need to review, making sure that to screen your documents are all complete, and then we start the reviewing process. Will take around 1 month or 2 months, but if you have big correction that reviewer wants you to do, so it's up to you how long you're gonna take to do the correction. Okay, so once the reviewer verified, then only get approval letter. Okay. Similarly, just to show you where the ethics is, we are squashed in the middle here. We're trying to make decision fast, but first of all, you will have to go through the pre and post procedure as well. So let's recap. If you're a postgraduate, you are applying through the online RED system. Okay. 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 Decision, I think we have discussed about it. The decision, if your proposal is really good, right, the reviewer would say accept. Okay, if not, there may be some improvement that the reviewer would want. So you may got a conditional approval, whether you may need to do some minor amendment there, where they will give a month for you to redo. But if you can do it within a day, please do so. And then, or if you're major, we give you up to 3 months, okay, to do the revision. And please do submit it earlier or within the timeline, or else you will have to resubmit again your proposal. Some of more than minimum risk who presented in the REC meeting may not be too clear to what they are presenting, so some may ended up having to represent again. Not many, very rare, but some study is just not ethical to be done. For example, the data has already started to be collected, so it's not going to be approved. Okay, so this is just an example of expedited reviews, research that is minimal risks. You will need to present if your research is more than minimal risks, and you will be exempted if you are doing secondary data and so on. Okay, in summary, Make sure your application is complete. Do discuss with your supervisors about your processes, methodology. Look at the risks that your potential proposal research may cause to participants and how are you going to overcome it, minimize it, okay? Submit it early, give time, at least 3 months, I would say. And if you have received the reviewer's comment, please reply to it as soon as you can, so that reviewer can still fresh in their mind to know what to expect, and they can review it very fast, yeah, because they still remember. Okay. Remember, incomplete application at the screening will be rejected, and then you will have to add more time to that. Okay, so this is just the theme. Thank you very much. I would like to end my session here, and I would take any questions from the floor.
Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for your brief explanation. I have a question. If I work in my country, I am from not here, I am from Iraq. If I work in my country and I have a part in Iraq and part here,
Okay.
the part that I work in Iraq, I already make an ethics in the institute that I work with, another university, and the second part I will be here in UIT. Did I need another ethics letter other than that I worked within in Iraq, another ethics from the college when I work here? Thank you.
Okay. So technically, if I got you right, you have 2 sites for data collection, right? One in Iraq and one in Malaysia.
Yes.
And the one in Iraq is that you have already received your ethics approval from your board in Iraq.
Yes.
Okay. So because you are UITM candidates, you're registered with us, you will need to submit both proposal, study conducted both in Iraq, even though you already have your ethics approval in Iraq. Again, to get approval from UITM. So you can submit your approval letter, ethics from Iraq, together as an attachment when you submit through the RED system for that particular research. So the research that you are doing in Malaysia, well, if it is a different research altogether, then you will need to submit a different proposal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I will go there's an online question here. Doctor, is it possible to request ethics maximum possible PhD for 14 semester? Okay, the length of the study approval depend pretty much on how long you will need to collect the data for, not how long your semester is. So if in the proposal you said that you anticipate that you're gonna be collecting the data and then do a post-collection monitoring to continue to collect the data, and that timeline must be in tandem with your objective. Okay, then we will give as long as you want. There are some study that run over 2-3 years, and then we still give the ethics approval till in accordance to the methodology. So the length of the time must correspond to the objective of the study. Okay, if at any time you say that, okay, but my study PhD is much longer. So if the ethics approval has end, right, you get because your data collection is for 2 years, and then you got for 2 years, but at some point of time you say, oh, I need to extend. There is extension of ethics approval, which you will need to submit to us at least 3 months before the end of that 2 years to us to request for extension. That shouldn't be a problem. Just give an explanation why you need to extend, you know. So that would be a way to do to be aware how long your ethics approval has been given time for, and apply for extension at least 3 months before it ends. The forms you showed previously, could I download it all? Yes, you can download it through the website. I'll share the slide with the committee later, and then you can go to the website, and then all forms are available. But for REC application online RED, you do not need a hard copy form. You do not need any form. You just do it online. Okay. The next question is, if we have research grant from other institute, do we still need request ethics approval from ISIS for data collection? That's right. If you have a research ethics grant from other institute, you will still need to get an ethics approval from UiTM, because one is that you are an UiTM candidate. Second is that regardless whether you are a UiTM candidate or you're from outside candidate, or from outside university, if data is to be collected within the UiTM vicinity using the staff, students, you will still need ethics approval from that, from UiTM, yeah. Okay, because I know some grants, they also look at there is a committee to look at the grant, but they do not have an ethics committee to review the proposal in looking the ethical concerns. Yeah, you still need the ethics approval. Do we need to request ethics approval from UiTM even though all the lab works and data collection is done in other institution? That is right. Because you are registered under UiTM, right? So you also will have to apply for ethics approval with UiTM on data that is being conducted elsewhere. So I'm sure you will already have ethics approval from other institutions to run and conduct the research. You can apply to UiTM, and then please submit the approval ethics approval form together as an attachment in the RED for the reviewer to have a look. So you still need. So basically, you will have 2 ethics approval letter, one from the institution and one from UiTM, just because you are registered with us. Okay. Because we also look at your safety, we don't just look at participants' risks. The reviewer also will look at the researchers' safety and well-being. Okay, there's one question here. Assalamualaikum. I would like to ask if I'm interested for exchange student master, can I apply it during first semester too? From my understanding, final semester are not eligible to apply. Not quite understand what this mean. Final semester student are not eligible to apply. I'm not sure why you're not eligible, but ethics approval basically is important that you do it early. If you can anticipate what you want to do already, plan it out, you should be able to start early as long as your proposal has been reviewed at your faculty or at your colleges and be endorsed by them, because we process a proposal that has been endorsed by a faculty. So as long as it's been done and endorsed, yes, please do submit to us, because that is even better, because you are preparing for it much earlier. What is the main purpose behind all these ethical things? I meant like those collecting survey from industry people that didn't revolve around the people that you mentioned in your early criteria, like feel vulnerable. Okay, if you are doing any research in relation to human, it will have to go through the ethical board to look at your proposal, so that the ethics board can assess that your proposal is fine and safe ethically for human. Because this is basically the regulations, right? Ethics regulation, that we are looking after the well-being of humans. So we want to make sure that any research that is subjected to human done in the appropriate manner and safe. So if still as a researcher we think, oh, this is nothing much, it's just a questionnaire. But no, really, when the board are looking at it, they do look at even how long the participant will need to fill up the questionnaire, right? And then are there any sensitive questions that we ask, for example, like sexuality, like, you know, other sensitive question that may be at risks of exposing patients, and raise concern with regards to data safety and also privacy. Okay. So not necessarily ill and vulnerable, even normal population also will need ethics approval. So there's a question from Muaz Amini. If the research more of observation analysis, it still need the ethics. If it is, if you are observing human, yes, it still need ethics approval. If you are actually looking at secondary data, meaning that you are extracting data from a database and you are extracting data that has no identifiable information, your research may qualify for exemption, so you can apply for exemption, but you still have to go through the ethics board, because it is involving human data, although not directly. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Afika has a question. My research related to waste from animal, does it require ethical approval? Yes. If you're dealing with animal, so this one I'm not sure whether you are handling animal, but animal itself has a UITM care ethics board. So you will need to submit that still through your faculty, and then submit it to the UITM care. But if the byproduct is some sort of chemical, then it will be biosafety. But I think this one is more towards UITM care, dealing with animals. So animal also have its own ethical committee. What are the key ethical consideration I should address in my thesis? Okay, if it's related to human, think about in what way that your study may harm the participants, and how can you minimize the risks. Okay, so if you're not sure, I think you will need to discuss with your supervisor, especially looking at your methodology. looking at your methodology, how you can optimize your patient information sheet. Okay, hope that helps. And then there's this question here. Is there any precedent or past cases where researcher or UiTM being sued for breaching ethical conduct by outside party? If there is, that who is responsible? Will UiTM indirectly in some way also responsible at the end of the day? Who is liable for this? Okay. Liability of something goes wrong, right? Okay. Ethics approval that is given, I think, this has never been, I have not, in this 6 months I'm with the ethics, I have not been made known of past cases where researcher or UiTM being sued for breaching ethical conduct. Okay. Ethical conduct, if being breached, it boils down to the principal investigator. Okay, so ethical conduct, misconduct varies, right? It involves management of grant money, deviation of protocol, not following the methodology stated in the proposal. So any misconduct in the trial, it will boils down to the research. Okay, the ethics will most likely not have any implication because we look at your proposal, and then the reviewer will look at what's on paper and give approval based on what you plan to do. But how it translates in real life, the responsibility goes back to the researcher. So it's very important to monitor your research and make sure that it follow the intended methodology plan before that.
Doctor, I just want to ask one question. Okay, let's say we have already the ethic has already approved our questionnaires and we run the pilot test for reliability, and then when the reliability test result came out, it turns out it's not going to be good result as we expected, and we need to actually you know change and make amendments to the questionnaires here and there. Should we after we do the amendment and all that, should we go through the ethical approval again, or we can just proceed to the actual study?
So meaning that you already have initial ethics approval?
Yeah, because in order for us to go for the pilot test, we have to go for the ethical approval first, right? And then if there is an amendment made in the questionnaires, maybe it's considered like minor or major correction have been made. So should we go to apply again for the ethical approval, or we can just collect the data?
Okay. It depends on what your study objective is actually. If your study objective is to if your study objective in your pilot hasn't changed at all after you have done your pilot, meaning you will need to do some modification to the questionnaire, but the objective of that questionnaire remain the same, meaning you are still looking at the same things, but it's just a modified questionnaire. As long as the first ethics approval were made known that following the pilot, these are the things that we will do the questionnaire, and these are the changes if need be. And then if there are changes, then we will resurvey it again to this number of participants. Then you do not need to submit a new proposal for ethics approval. But if the pilot ethical approval was just meant for the pilot, but there is no additional recruitment mentioned in the methodology that you will do post pilot questionnaire, so you will need to send for new ethics approval because your objective now has been expanded and it wasn't included in the initial ethics approval. Did I explain that? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay, yeah, hope that helps. Just look back at your study methodology, whether what you want to do after post-pilot too has already been stated in your pilot.
Okay, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Welcome. We have one question from Miss Is Osman. I had done a preliminary research to find research gap. It was a small research, but still involves small number of participants. But that was when I was with previous two university. Okay, never mind. 2 years ago. Then I got discontinued now. So now I am with UiTM. So do I need to redo everything again, or can I just report the previous study since it was already been published in journal? Uh, okay. As long if your previous research done in the previous university 2 years ago has received because you already collected the data, right? So you must use the previous ethics approval for publication. If you haven't got the research approval from the study done and collected before, and want to apply for approval for a retrospect for data collected in the past, unfortunately, it will not be granted. Okay, so you can report your study based on your previous ethics approval. Okay. So Declaration of Helsinki, someone stated this 1964. I think that's when it was actually it's a rentetan, a follow-up following World War II and so on and so forth, where they decided that there must be an ethical review for any research conducted on human, because as we are aware, during the World War, there were a lot of unregulated, unethical research done, especially on prisoners and so on. Yeah. Okay. Any more question maybe from the admin? I think we have other speakers, right? I try not to intrude into Prof. Yong's time. I think you probably have some idea what ethics application involve, what it is, and if you have any question, please you can just contact the secretariat through the email or call us. Yeah, but most importantly, just do discuss with your supervisor early on during the proposal space. Yeah. Okay. I'll stop sharing. May I know
Yes,
Nazila?
Doctor. Yes, Doctor. Are you done?
So yeah, I am done. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kasno. And then next, we will continue with Dr. Associate Professor Dr. Yong Sun Kong.
Hi, Prof. Yong, former boss.
Dr. Hasno, long time no see. Anyway, I was with Dr. Hasno as a colleague in RMC before, but so I'm no longer with RMC. So here I am, still continuing what I did before.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, okay. All right, all right. So I'm taking over, Dr.
Yeah,
Hasno.
bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, very good afternoon, everyone. So like I said, I was with RMC. So this session was supposed to be taken over by the new head of ethics and publication, but however, due to some avoidable issues, so I have to come in lah. But it's okay. I have been giving this talk for the past 2 years, so no issue for me. And so I hope you will going to still have the energy to pay attention to what I have to say. Anyway, before I start, let me share the PowerPoint slide. So just a check, are you looking at my PowerPoint slide?
Yes.
All right. So thank
Yes,
you very
yes.
much. Now, all right. So without further ado, I will start talking about the next part related to ethics, and this time it's about publication. For Dr. Object related research and also its ethics application. My talk will completely cover the entire story specifically on publication. Now, I was wondering, uh, perhaps this time you are just at the beginning of your postgraduate candidature, and publication probably is not your focus, but trust me, you should mind what you need to do in order to accelerate your publication as soon as possible. Okay? Um, so inside my talk, I'm going to cover why you should do that and what will happen if you don't. Okay. And a lot of those people who are desperate to meet those key performance indicator, they felt desperate and do the wrong thing. So today we're going to go through the examples of those misconduct, particularly in academic publication, and how you should avoid it. Yeah. So there you go. A little bit intro what I have to say. So these are the content, the outline of contents that I'm going to cover. So that will cover a few small parts of the examples of academic misconduct. It doesn't cover the entire thing just yet. Now I'm going to cover those that are most commonly heard, at least from my experience as a previously an administrator with the Research Management Center and my own experience being a supervisor for final year project students as well as postgraduate students. So trust me, whatever the tricks that gets previously the previous student over the hump, now we are in the know. So these are the things that you should know as well. And again, avoid it. So first thing first, when you first registered with UITM as a research student in postgraduate level, you will definitely going to get yourself inside this cycle. Well, anybody who do research cannot avoid this cycle, and they consist of several stages, as you can see right here. There are 5 of them. It begins with how you develop your own research problem. And most of the time, this is where you develop your proposal, where the key idea is whether or not your research question or research problem is scientific enough or worthy enough to be continued as a postgraduate research. So once you have gone through different research proposal, and of course, for those who are for those who applied, the human subjects or animal subjects, you need to definitely first get the research ethics approval before you begin conducting your research and collecting data. So there you go, stage number 2. But then again, once you have finished your finding, this is a part where you need to possibly process your data, whether or not it is a good enough data to be used. If not, you have to come back to stage number 2 to keep on collecting enough quality data before you come up to this part where this is documentation and publication. This is essentially where you need to publish manuscripts that you will publish in a proceedings at least, or maybe in a journal preferably. And of course, once you have all those papers that are verified by experts, then only you submit your thesis for oral examination. And that caps the entire research journey of yourself as a research student. And this cycle is very much the same myself as a researcher. So we go through everything, and mind you, once we have disseminate, that means once we have published paper somewhere else and people reading it, doesn't mean that it stops there. Sometimes mistake may happen, and we also need to correct it by issuing or publishing corrigendum or addendum. Yeah. So these are the points that um, I will need to add some more. Okay, now the main point of this cycle is that your research only stops or ends, only completed when you successfully publish your article, either in proceeding or in journal. You see, some people might argue, what if I just publish in thesis? That marks the end of your research? The answer is yes and no, depending on which institution that you're registered. Now, you are definitely registered with UiTM, and according to regulation of UiTM, you must publish paper. For master student, at least one. PhD student, if not mistaken, 2 or 3. I'm not sure whether they have increased it to 3, because if not mistaken, currently it's just 2. Okay, so you must first publish, otherwise you are not allowed to go and submit your thesis. So why this is important? Now don't blame UiTM for such policy, because why? There's a reason to do that. Because why? Once your article has been published, that means your article has been verified by the scientific committee. So that is why. So there is a certain what do you say, validity in your research that allows it to be acknowledged by the expert in your field. Then only your article can be accepted for publication. So that is a seal of approval from the scientific committee. And that is very important. Yeah. Only after that, then you are accepted into the circle, the scientific committee. Yeah. Okay. Now the third point, the quality of the journal is guaranteed through a strict peer review process and efficient management in accordance to standards as outlined by Committee on Publication Ethics. Now, when I say peer review, perhaps you haven't heard what is that. Now, peer, as we know, is people who works alongside with us. Like you, student, your peer is probably your fellow PhD student. But the peer that we're talking about here is researcher. And just now I told you, your papers have to be first published. But before it is published, it will be verified. That verification process is what we call here the peer review process. And who are those peers? Experts in the international level or national level that will go through the content of your research to verify the scientific merit of your paper. So you see, this is how it works, and it will continue works like this one. And being a research student, you have to get ready for this process. Yeah. Okay, now we do have some standards in terms of research ethics and also publication ethics. I'm not sure if Dr. Hasnu have mentioned this to you before, because this is a manual we call Malaysian Code of Conduct for Malaysian Code of Responsible Conduct in Research, or in short, we call it MCRCR. Now, we already have the second revision, second version, second edition of this publication, and they are actually issued by the top scientists in Malaysia, Academy Science Malaysia. They are the one who comes up with this one. Gone through series of discussion among all scientists in Malaysia. So this guideline is in line with international standard, and they are made for Malaysian scientists. Yeah. So if you're not from here, then I strongly suggest you to download a copy, which is available for free from Academy Science Malaysia's website. Yeah. So you have to have a copy. Inside there, they will teach you the principles of research ethics and also what would happen. Yeah, what will happen if anything goes wrong, if there's a misconduct, what will happen. And for your information, UiTM adopts this one. So a lot of the processes that is described in this booklet also is practiced by UiTM as well. Yeah. And to be more specific, when you go to international level, you're going to submit to high impact journals, international stage journals. Now they are consist of many publishers, and all these publishers are quite confident to say that all international publishers refer to this body. We call it Committee on Publication Ethics with regards to best practices, what are the current standards, and also acceptance, and also whatever the misconduct that may happen in the world of academic publication. All they follow rules or guidelines set by this committee. Yeah. So it is based in UK. It is non-profit, but it is not exactly non-profit because I have a membership there, and they charge me 300 ringgit per year to renew it, which I don't think that is worth it. But trust me, you must like see what's going on inside there. Because most of the international standard as adopted by many publisher, they follow their standard. So you cannot deny that. So you have the standards. If you have time, you read it. But if you don't, always look at the publisher's guideline. Yeah. Now, what about within us? I mean, in UiTM. Now, we do have a lot of policies that governs and also handles some issues related to publication ethics. And for the past 10, 20 years, I don't think this issue is new to you. It has been around for many years. We call it plagiarism. And UiTM actually first combat this kind of academic misconduct beginning in 2012. And just last year, they have published a second version, a revision to that, to cover the loopholes as the first version did not cover, wide enough. So this time, they published a second edition. Now, it is not the time for this talk, this guideline. I strongly recommend you to download a copy and take your own time to read it yourself. The policy as adopted by UiTM with regards to plagiarism. Okay. Now, I have to first apologize to those who don't speak Malay. If you can't speak Malay, you can let your supervisor know and ask your supervisor to interpret for you. Because if not mistaken, until now, there's only Malay version available. So if you're not so sure about the content of this one, download a copy, see your supervisor, and ask your supervisor to interpret for you. All right. So what is research ethics? Now, it is described as what is a norm, the right value or the wrong, the good or bad, or what ought and ought not to be done in the context of research. So what does that mean? Yeah, you might ask, what does that mean? Well, it simply means that this is the norm or the rules adopted by researcher, us, with regards to the conduct in research. So that means that these rules that we determine today may not be the same 10 years after. Now, this is very true because with the development of new technology, some norms are not acceptable before can be accepted in the future. And these norms may change. So that is why you have to keep up with the latest development, particularly for those of you who knows what is artificial intelligence. We do have a lot of tools that help us to write and publish, but there are rules that are being developed here. So that is why we need to get to the front and know what can be accepted or not. Yeah. Okay, now the part why you should know this is because sometimes the punishment can be very harsh if you accidentally or act or purposely violates this rule. depending on which university that you come from and also countries. Some countries, they punish severely, some to the point that they can charge you in the court for criminal offenses. Well, more on that, we're going to dwell more on that one based on the examples that I'm going to show you later. Yeah. So that is the reason why we need to know about research ethics and also particularly publication ethics. So there is a website that I strongly recommend you to check later on, which is called Retraction Watch. Now, this is a website that compiles the latest development or the latest news, particularly with regards to research ethics violation. So you can say this website is almost like a page that a lot of people who done the wrong things are compiled. So yeah, and unfortunately, there are a few cases that involve Malaysians inside there. So yeah, you might want to have a look inside there just to check what are the do's and don'ts. You are going to learn a lot. Or you can just pay attention to what I have to say next to know a few the major things. Because inside this slide, I have used materials and also the information that are compiled from Retraction Watch. Although there are also many more, but due to time constraint, I only uh, compiled the most important ones. So before I go to those examples, here are some statistics, some data that has been reported in journal papers. Yeah, the misconduct in research and scholarly publication. So here you can see two graphs on my left-hand side showing the ever-increasing number of academic violation. I mean, this is specifically for publication. And also down there, the statistics or the numbers of papers retracted due to this misconduct. You see why papers are retracted? Very simple. If a paper integrity can be questioned, that means the accuracy of data may also be doubtful. And because of that, this paper usually, the practice of publishers, international publishers, they would usually retract it because there are doubts in the reports that we have published in their journal. They'll just take it away. And it is ever increased. Now, you might ask, why? Why everything starts from year 2000? You see, during year 2000, that was the first time where the citation metrics were introduced. That time, there's only one. We call it ISI. But today it's called Web of Science. Sounds familiar? That is it. Because before Web of Science of today, it was known as ISI. That was created in the year 2000. And since then, everybody wants to be recognized and acknowledged in ISI. So they publish as many papers as possible. There you go. People are desperate and use a lot of methods. Some are legal, some are not. And these are the examples that are not legal ones. And you can see that the examples of this misconduct can be plagiarism, as I showed you earlier, duplicate publication. If you don't know, don't worry. I'll show you later on. Until some that are outright academic fraud. So why this has been increasing? Now that is because we as researcher, especially, I mean, let's talk about graduate student like you. You will need to first publish before you're allowed to submit your thesis. And only after you pass your thesis examination, then only you can graduate. Some, especially us academic staff, when we take time to study, we are given exactly 3 years. No more, less can, but no more. You cannot do more because more means more money have to be invested on us. So as far as I know, any academic staff who take more time will be punished financially. See? Pressure, isn't it? But that also applies to me myself because we were given some annual number of publication that we have to meet. We have to publish a certain number of papers. If we fail to meet it, that also may impact our annual assessment. So again, pressure. And because of this ever-growing pressure to publish in academic papers, we have some urge to sometimes become too desperate and may have resorted to unlawful ways to achieve that. So out of desperation. Now, it also could be greed. Now, people previously, 10 years ago, some countries which are well enough, they offer financial incentive. Like if we can publish in a high impact journal, last time it was paid 1,000. I'm not sure ringgit or USD. 1,000 per paper published. That is a lot of money. That was the time when people are rushing to get high impact journals to increase their ranking. So again, people might think, oh, that is an easy way to get money. Why not? Well, sometimes it is legal, then sometimes it is not. So that is an issue there. Yeah? And also the lack of moral capacity. Now, people may not be educated enough to know that is wrong. What we call this an honest mistake. So in order to reduce that probability, that is why we're here today. We're going to learn examples and you don't repeat the same mistake. Okay. So here are the examples that I am going to show you all. Oops. Now, beginning from the top, those are what we can say the academic misconduct or publication misconduct that has the least severity down to the bottom. The bottom ones are the worst. Why is the worst? You're going to notice that when you're going down, you're going to notice that going down, there is an increased intent to cheat. So you see the intention. The intention to cheat is much more significant when you go down this arrow. And so there you go. These are examples. And also the punishment also may be quite different depending on institution. As far as I know, for plagiarism, if it is the intention is not proven, they might give you a warning. However, if there's a proven intention that you intend to cheat or to mislead the examiners or supervisor, the punishment can be more severe. Now that we talk about this example, I'm going to start with the first example. So we go back to plagiarism because why? This has been like a decade-long battle between UiTM and also this issue. Okay, so according to Turnitin, which is a software first developed to detect plagiarism in students' work, they list down 9 examples. So let me show you all of it. Now, from the top, the word that has been used many times, copy and paste. So this is what we used before we have the proper word of plagiarism. Now, this is as if like you have the source from a literature, internet. Yeah, those texts you copy and paste exactly word by word, sentence by sentence in your own work and submit as it is. That automatically is a plagiarism. Now, you might be asking, what if you put the citation? You are still guilty. If you put citation, even if you copy word by word, even if you put a citation, that is still a wrong thing. Because it shows the lack of effort to give your own originality. Words that you use in describing your idea can be coming from yourself. But some students, due to, again, desperation, because of time constraint, they copy and paste, and that's it. It is still wrong, even though you cite it. Now, when you come down to the second one, creativity seeps in. Now, some students who are creative enough, they may mix with several sources. The sentence, they can be different, but they still copy word by word from several sources, mix them together, and there you go. You might get away, but wrong. Turnitin still can detect it, and it will still being picked up. And then the most expert student may be able to get away with this one, in which they call it almost not plagiarizing. As you can see, example, changing the keywords, the phrases, but retain the essential content of the source. You see, there's a word for that one. We call rogetting. And there are 2 possibilities. Either you can get away scathe-free, your supervisor don't notice anything, or number 2, your supervisor might call you in and give you the worst lashing of your life. But that happens to me. Students use synonym in Word, change every single keyword until that student also don't know what they are writing, but yet they send it to me. So yeah, that happens. Well, that is the worst of this type. Well, moving on, the second one, include proper citation to source, but paper contains almost no original work. You see, you still cite the paper, you still use your own word, but the idea are still coming from the source. Where is your idea? See, that distinguish between the students that are worthy of graduating because they are creativity and also originality. Some people might get away with that one because they use their own sentence, right? Yes, you can, but when it comes to Viva, you might stuck. Okay, last one. Includes proper citation but relies too closely on the text original wording or structure. Now, this one, again, you can still cite, you can get away with it. You use your own word, again, you can get away with it because Turnitin can't pick up if you use your original sentence to describe. And again, still lack of original idea. So there you go. Plagiarism. There are so many types of plagiarism. Some plagiarize word by word, as words. Some plagiarize uh, the entire structure of the sentence. Now, what makes this possible is there are many tools nowadays. So I'm going to name one, which you possibly already know, and the name is Quillbot. I don't say that I am against the usage of Quillbot, but you see, Quillbot is here to assist you in writing. If English is not your first language, by all means, use it. Use it, but improve the way you present in English. But most importantly, don't rely so much on Quillbot because Quillbot has been proven to be not exactly perfect. There are students of myself who use Quillbot, and what they've written is not what they meant. Quillbot is a tool to help you. So you will still need to check what they have suggested in their text. So don't trust entirely on AI. They might be wrong. Yeah. So the same goes to ChatGPT. If you want to use ChatGPT to write, so be it. Can. There's nothing wrong with it. But check the validity. Yeah. Okay, so there are a lot of examples of Turnitin. Now the case of plagiarism. This one happens in 2014. Yeah, exactly 20 years before. And I'm still using it because that is the only time where it get caught. And this is quite serious. Now in 2014, there is a website here called Swara TV. They report a news talking about a very prominent academician. During that time, he is not very in line with, on the same page with the government at that time. So a lot of critical comments coming from this academician, which is what it should be. However, in that year, somebody reported that his thesis that he has published 10 years before turns back when they check using Turnitin, he plagiarized one chapter. So that's it. A professor plagiarizing a work that he committed this misconduct 10 years before. So what happened is that Turnitin only invented in 2012. It's only launched in 2012. So this misconduct happens way before that. And what happened is during the launch of that technology, they managed to pick up all the wrongdoings that people previously have done. And unfortunately, this person just recently promoted in 2014 to a professor post was forced to retire because of this one. I mean, Malaysian government are so nice because if this happened in overseas, the punishment is not just early retirement. Yeah. So what about in UiTM? Now, in UiTM, we also have conducted a research talking about plagiarism in which half of UiTM students admitted to have plagiarized. They know they plagiarized, but this happened like 14 years ago. And I believe today the numbers are, I don't know, maybe around this one. But here's the point. Now, plagiarism is nothing new because it's so easy to do. Yeah, you just copy and you paste it in your work. Sometimes your supervisor doesn't even know that you plagiarize if you're smart enough on how to play around with it with tools, of course. And that is why UiTM was forced to subscribe to Turnitin. Now, last time, exactly 1 year before, we don't have Turnitin, but now we have it back. So students, if you don't know how to use Turnitin, make sure you know. Definitely your supervisor will ask you to use that and check it. So what is the policy with regards to this one? Now, of course, IPSIS have already told you very, very early, if you want to submit anything, drafts, proposal for DRP or draft thesis where you need to go through oral examination, it must first get checked by Turnitin for similarity index. And currently, the number of the value of similarity index must be below 30%. Now, this one excluding the references. Now, if you ask me if 30% is low enough, I would say not low enough. It should be much lower. Because 30% I've seen, you can still do a lot of like plagiarism from the source. Now, what if you are caught? What if you're caught? Yeah. So these are the examples of punishment that can be given by UiTM, either failed grade and F given to a course. Well, this is if the course have an assignment, but I think for postgraduate students, you don't have it. You only come to the test when you need to submit a manuscript. So this is between you and also the publisher, the editor of the journal. And what's worse is if this one still happens and get caught, but of course, it is not as easy as they give you punishment just like that. You will first need to be proven guilty in a court, and then the chairperson of that jawatan kuasa of that committee will going to propose a punishment. And these are the potential punishment that can be given to you, yeah? So there is a reference, and again, like I told you earlier, it's only available in Malay. So if you're not able to understand Malay, again, get your supervisor to discuss with you, yeah, the content. You must know the content and the latest policy, yeah. And this is a link. If you want to search the internet, search Dasar Plagiarisme UiTM dan Pelaksanaannya. It's in second version, just published last year. So you need to go through that. Okay, next one. Examples of academic misconduct. Now, and I would say apart from plagiarism, these two are quite common. These two are quite common. But these two academic misconduct can be said much, much worse than plagiarism. While the word itself is copied and pasted, what worse can you do? You're stealing other people's sentences, ideas. Well, to me, the damage is there, but not as severe as this one. Because in fabrication and falsification, there's an element of fraud. And that hurts a lot more than you ever think. So, here is the example. Fabrication. The word itself tells you that it is made up. Fabricate means making something. And this is making the data up. Now, experiments, sometimes people might report some data. Now, whether or not that data truly collected through an experiment, that is very important that we know it is the case. Because if that is made up, we never know the accuracy or the validity of the data. And fabrication is one that is made up without conducting any experiment. And you see, this is going to hurt a lot more on the scientific community because based on a fraudulent report, it may mislead the direction of a research. And a lot of time and money may be wasted due to this misconduct. Now, the next example is falsification. Now, this one is very similar, but just slightly different in a way that the experiment has been conducted. However, some point, the data doesn't look so nice. So you edit it, or you remove one data point so that the curve looks smoother, or if the images doesn't look the way that you wanted, so you use Photoshop and you change the shape into what you would expect. And these things has been happening a lot of time, 10 years ago. So there you go. You conduct an experiment, but you change it a little bit. Of course, with falsification, we call it. So these are the example that has happened in Malaysia in 2016, and these images, perhaps you have seen it before. These are the images, the so-called data coming from a stem cell research. In 2016, stem cell research can be said the forefront of biological research. Everybody wants to publish paper. Somehow, this publication comes out too quick, too good to be true. And when you look at it, it is. Because when you look at the right-hand side, the circles with similar color, they're actually from a template, the same images that they are flip around, they turn, it's actually the same. And so does the other color that are circled. They are actually the same template of images. And they are like blatantly Photoshop in order to make it real. And then on the left-hand side, these are actually identical images from top to bottom. They are just edited just slightly. And what happened is that they got caught. This is the work of a PhD candidate who just graduated when this misconduct was first reported online. So he was confronted and sure enough, gone missing, gone back to his country and never respond to any question or allegation. So this student's PhD has been revoked by that university, and he doesn't have a PhD after 3 years. Yeah, he got it first, but then revoked lah. But the worst part is that his supervisor doesn't know his wrongdoing and got investigated. And well, they say that they are not in the know. Well, because of this debacle, that university suffered the loss in terms of reputation. And frankly speaking, in research, reputation is a lot of things. Yeah. So that university suffered reputation loss because of that. And it's still the talk until today. Well, at least for this talk. So how do we counter fabrication and falsification? Now, intentional fabrication can be difficult because sometimes you don't know whether that data is true or not until you repeat yourself. That is why when you submit a manuscript for journal publication, editors might request you to repeat the experiment. They ask you. But some journals, the editor, they are very capable. They repeat the experiment according to what you have described in your manuscript. So they want to see whether they get the same data or not. If they don't get the same data, then they're going to confront you. Okay. So this is how we know how fabrication is detected. So supervisor may check and do the experiment at a time to get the same data to verify. And also they might check your data regularly to see where does your data comes from? Where does your data comes from in the graph? Does it comes from a raw data that is generated from a computer, or you just like write down? You see, writing down data also can be accepted. And if I'm the one who's going to check the student's data, I'm going to ask the student to regularly show me the logbook where they write down the raw data from any experiment. Because once this is recorded, there's no way they can change it. Yeah, so logbook, very important. Okay, then students should submit a manuscript as early after passing a defense research proposal, because why this happened to students is that they are desperate. We know because they want to graduate on time and they graduate early, and things may get out of hand. So for students like you, if you really, really need that one paper to get you the opportunity for viva or oral examination, my suggestion to you is that as soon as you finish your defense research proposal, make it as a review manuscript and submit it. It doesn't take too long. Maybe 1 year, you're going to have your first paper. And then the second paper from your experiment, there you go, 2 papers, and you don't need to cheat. So, okay, now this one, the third one, misconduct number 3, gift and ghost authorship. So how I know this one, earlier when I did my PhD, I also don't know. When I come back to Malaysia, then I know there's such a thing. Now, what is this authorship? First of all, there are 2 types of authorship. First author or corresponding author. Why I put it higher? Later on that. And also other authors, we call it co-authors. Now, the first author usually have the highest weightage in terms of recognition, because the first author usually are the one who done the work firsthand, and most likely also the first person to draft out this manuscript. In other words, you as the person who need to do the actual lab work and submit the report to your supervisor. So what about corresponding author? Now, corresponding author, usually the role of corresponding author is to communicate with editors during the submission process, and any feedbacks from the scientific community will comes to the corresponding author. And when you look at the weightage and also the responsibility of this author, automatically that falls to your own supervisor, the head of project, we call it. You are the worker, the supervisor is the head of project, and he or she should know from the beginning until the end, the entire process in that project. So here's the distinction. If you wants to have the first author, definitely. But if your supervisor doesn't allow you to become a first author, you have every right to question why. Now, for example, if you haven't contributed enough, that might be a justification. But by default, all students, the students who directly involved in their project should be the first author. That is the right, and you should demand that. Now, the question is, some students, they might be academician. They already a staff from their own university and they want to pursue PhD. Can they become a corresponding author? The answer is yes, of course. Because after all, you're going to continue with this same research for a foreseeable future, of course. Now, whether or not you can have two corresponding author depends on a journal. Some journal allows it, some does not, but I'm all for it. Because why? Nobody knows everything. If your supervisor and yourself want to become a corresponding author, now, frankly speaking, I agree with that one, but you have to negotiate first with your supervisor and also get the approval from the journal editor. I think nowadays many journal editors allows it. Okay, now what about co-authors? Co-authors are those that contribute part of that manuscript, and they knows and they contribute intellectually to any parts of that manuscript, like it for data analysis, interpretation, or some even the writing of that manuscript also can be counted as part of the co-authorship. So there you go. Reviewing and significant contribution in the intellectual part allows them to become a co-author. So there you go. Now, co-author should also know the content of other parts of that same manuscript, because they have to also verify and agree the outcome of experimentals that are conducted, that are contributed by other co-authors, and they are also responsible for those data as well. So here's the problem. We call it gift authorship. And how this happened? It's as if like authorship itself is a material, an object that you present it to somebody else as a tribute or maybe as a favor. You see, all these things seems like there's no victim, you see? Macam tak ada victim kan? But I would say the victim is integrity. Because why? You are rewarding someone that are not deserving. So don't. If somebody doesn't contribute enough, you don't simply give away authorship because that person just don't deserve it. So this is you. This is between you and also the authors of your paper. This may happen to you yourself, or this may happen to your supervisor. And there are also a lot of reports coming from other universities saying that the students complain. The students actually complain. Why that paper that he go through a lot of difficulties to make that draft suddenly appear two names that he doesn't recognize? Yes, that may happen. How it happened, it has a lot to do with the supervisor. So that is not right, actually. That is not right. Although there is probably no further action taken, But there you go, yeah. Integrity. Yeah. Okay, now this is a actual screen capture that I got from an email that is sent to me. And inside the email, they have a team. They call it a Vistina team. They claim that they work with a lot of scholars in the world, and they have a lot of manuscript waiting for us to join. Well, the word sounded very legit, but then it is not when they start asking for money. See the issue? You want to contribute, but they say, no, it's different. It is done. It's almost done. You just have to pay money, and then you have your name on the paper. That is not right. Yeah, that is not right. That is almost like you're buying your authorship. So this thing has been around. I know it because I got one invitation. So if you got one, I know it could be easy for you, but you will never know what you're paying. Perhaps this is a scam. Once you pay, they disappear. So yeah, not worth it, right? And one more thing, even if they disappear and you want to complain, chances are you won't because you are in the wrong in the first place. So they took your money and you have nowhere to complain. Can see what's worse? That there you go. Okay, now ghost authorship is an individual who paid to write but is not listed as an author. So contrary to the other one, you paid to get your name on it, but this person just want your money and they write for you. Yeah, there is such a service we call ghost authorship. And previously, many cases that I've heard got away with this one. They paid somebody to write the thesis. But nowadays, it is almost impossible to do that. Because why? In Malaysia, we have oral examination. People who get other people to write their own thesis will never understand their content, the content of the thesis. So they will get caught in oral examination. Now, why this is also um, not ethical is that there is an element of cheating right here. You are not the one who is contributing intellectually, but you get the reward in the form of PhD. Although the ghost author would be willing to take your money to do all the job for you, but you see, it does more harm than good to the candidate itself. Although the candidate wants to do it, but yeah, there is a chance that things that they have written inside there is not even correct. It's not even verified and acknowledged by the candidate itself. So sometimes also it may carry some element of conflict of interest, whereby the writers might artificially cite the papers that are not qualified, not supposed to be cited, because that paper have some interest by the ghost author. They might artificially cite the papers that are benefiting for them. That also may happen. Because why? They don't have a name to it. They can do whatever they want. The name is the candidate who pays them. And this is what I get from Facebook. This is an advertisement I purposely censored so that you don't get the WhatsApp number. Because from the reply that I've seen from that WhatsApp post, what WhatsApp post? The Facebook post, and sure enough, what I suspected, that is a scam. People have paid and then they never received the service that they got and then they ran away. And worst part is that, yeah, like I said, those who paid are in the wrong in the first place. They can't complain. So there are a lot of urges that are preying desperate students who wants to get their job done quickly. And this is like 10 years ago, I got this. There is a service that openly sells that provide the service for writing the thesis. So you can see there undergraduate final year project students thesis can be done in 14 days, pages 50. Nowadays, you're going to get more than that. But look at the price. That time is 550 USD. Today, I would say is closer to 3,000. That money is a lot of money for an undergraduate student. So what is the solution? Now, in order to police gift and ghost authorship, because there's no real victim here, because both parties are happy, it's very hard to catch. So nowadays, authorship must be determined, predetermined during submission. Now, if you have the chance to submit your manuscript, the very first instance is the editor will ask you, who are the authors, their order, and what do they contribute? They're forcing us to state very early on those authors. Because later, when during revision and publication, you cannot suddenly add authors. That is one way, yeah. So there are sometimes authorship in dispute. Some, like I said, some names appear in their paper where they don't even know who they are. I would say first thing first, don't take it to the media because these things can be mediated. I know it because I myself involved in several before, in which the students are too afraid to approach the supervisor. So they talk to me and we managed to come up with an amicable solution. The supervisor also acknowledged there is a mistake and everything is done. You see, this happened in UiTM before with I mean the case that I know. But I have to share with you, there are several cases that happens outside of UiTM, still in Malaysia University, where they take it to social media. When everything is blown up, then somebody have to go. And unfortunately, it's the supervisor who were punished because of that so-called misconduct. So nobody have to do this. There's always a way that we can discuss and solve this amicably. Yeah. Okay, so just now I told you what is duplicate and multiple submission, and this one is creativity, if I would say. Because why? We know we need a lot of papers just to show how productive we are. But you see, the research is just one. And usually one research, you can publish just one paper. And in this case, this researcher, not student, this researcher creatively rewrite the same manuscript in different styles, managed to submit to 8 journals, and they were published. The data, the content exactly the same, it's just the way they present it is different. They look different, they publish at the same time, but then they were discovered. So what happened is this researcher has been banned by that publisher, which means that other journals published by this same publisher has banned this researcher for a duration. Not sure how long, but a duration. So that has been barred. And of course, if this one appeared in Retraction Watch, where I get this article from, the reputation damage is the worst that I can think of that happened to this researcher. Okay, now I would say this is second last that I would need to cover. We call it predatory publication, and I think you must have heard it before because this man over here is a librarian in University of Colorado, which he no longer serves and has already retired due to pressure from a prominent publisher internationally. Because in his list, they call it Bill's list, it's a list of allegedly predatory publisher, and inside there they have these big names. And these big names effectively go to his employer and got himself removed. Okay, that story aside, if I want to put credible journals versus predatory journals in perspective, it is exactly what you can see right here. Now, credible journals have a peer review process that makes your life very difficult. Let's just be honest, because they need to challenge you to see if the data is indeed valid. So here's where you go. You need to go through hurdles after checks, just to make sure that what you do is indeed credible. Yeah. However, for predatory journals, they know you want to publish. They know. So all they want from you is money. They pay them an affordable sum. They can just publish whatever you want to publish. So it's just like a red carpet welcoming you. You pay a certain fine and a certain sum of money, and then they publish for you. But here's the problem. They never check your article, or even if they checked it with very, very minimal effort. See the problem? That means if your paper accidentally have a mistake, they will still publish it and is seen by the international community. What leaves that possible mistake in doing research in the future? So that is the perspective that you have right here, and why we should avoid publishing in predatory journals is what you can see right here. Financial loss. Why? They always ask money from you. And nowadays in Malaysia, we are barred from publishing in any journals that are known to have the predatory reputation. So whatever you publish, you lose your data, you lose your money because you pay them, and that won't be recognized as the key performance indicator. So waste of time. But the worst part is the second and the third one. Because once people have published in a predatory journal, you are forever associated with fraud. Not fraud, but uh, the lower quality side of the research. So that hurts you more than you can imagine. I mean, at least people might doubt the validity of research that you publish later on. And it could also affect the public trust towards the scientific community, because if this happened, there are so many fraud, nobody would trust what we are doing for research, because they might question, are we sure that what you do is indeed trustable? And one example is that there are many signs that are in vaccines, and anti-vaxxers always use this as the excuse for them to champion their cause, whereas those papers has already long been retracted, yeah, because of the fraud published by predatory journals. So how do we avoid it? First thing first, these are the tricks that you can see, the hints, yeah, that you can see from predatory journals. Now, these are just examples that you can see right there. It will always guarantees you a certain time frame to publish, and usually they guarantee you very fast publication. The moment you hear fast publication, just stop. That is not possible. Yeah, it's most likely the predatory journals. And then they always ask you for article publication charge. But here's the thing, most of the time they are very affordable. They are very affordable that maybe you can pay with several hundred, maximum 2,000. So the magic number that we discover is 2,000. Anything near 2,000 or less. More than that, we don't know, but they always charge you 2,000 because it's affordable, right? But not really, because nowadays everything gets more expensive. Accepts all articles despite not within the journal scope. Now, here is what you need to do. When you want to publish something, just don't simply publish in any journal, because some journal, they are reserved for a certain group of people who is in that research. So you have to make sure that the right people read your articles, but not predatory journal. They say anything goes. You just publish, pay them money, that's it. I mean, that itself, it's not serving your purpose. You want to spread knowledge to the right people, not simply publish. Kan? And then the telltale thing, usually these predatory journals, they are operated by non-expert, so that English also is not really there. Some even outright operated by fraudsters. So their English also, maybe there are some mistake. The moment you can catch some English mistakes, that is also a telltale sign. And of course, because there's a element of cheating and fraud over there, they won't going to tell you who they are. So the ownership of the journal, the actual owners, the publishers, you don't know. The location also you don't know. They will never use their institutional email. They just use Gmail and whatnot. So these are the signs that are telling us that, no, stay away. There might be a possibility this is a predatory journal. So examples of predatory journal, as you can see right here, I will always check several sources, not just here. Now, here's a screen capture from Scopus of a journal called International Journal of Research Technology and Engineering that has been discontinued. They were first indexed in 2018, but the year after got removed for one simple reason. Number one, just look at how many papers they managed to publish in 2018. 196. That itself is a lot, but nothing can compare to the year after. It jumped 40 times. 40 times compared to the year before, which is already a lot of paper. And I truly believe this is the reason why they got removed by Scopus. because they don't care about quality control. And another sign that it also lacks quality control is that subject area. You see, they publish everything from engineering, science, until business, as if like there's no particular scope that this journal wants to focus on. And of course, the name itself is very big here. Discontinued Scopus. Anything that has been discontinued by Scopus usually is associated with this issue, some problems lah. Now, the exact problem Scopus won't tell you, but if they are removed from Scopus, then okay, automatically stay away. That's all. Okay, so what's the dilemma? Some predatory journals, they can be there for some time, 1 year, 2 years before they are getting removed. So what if there's a new journal that behaves this way, then how do you know? I think the best way to avoid yourself from this issue is that you always ask, always check with your supervisor. If your supervisor is not really sure, check with the university research administrator. They should be able to help you. And just to reiterate, I have done many verification with UiTM staff as well as students before. So my successor in RMC, Dr. Amizon, will definitely able to help you. Or if you want to look for me, that's also can. I still can do it for you if you want to. Yeah. So last one. This is what we call hijack journal. Now, hijack journal, uh, it suddenly pops up in during pandemic time. That was the time where it has the most cases. Now, hijack journal is a fake journal altogether. You can say that people are misrepresenting and falsely representing a legitimate journal by creating another website, and usually scammers, they know how to operate this one. Usually they're targeting journals that don't use English. Later you'll see examples. So these are the examples. Now, I received this email from Professor Zheng Bingwen. I searched the name, legitimate enough. He is a professor in China. But then I noticed that they don't use institutional email. Then I'm suspicious. Then why this person don't use institutional email? What is this person is trying to hide? I search the Google and this website pops up on top. So for some reason, this scammers also knows how to prop up uh, their their visibility in Google search. So they pop up first. I click, looks like legit, but then I happens to be able to read Mandarin and speak a few. So then I search, and this is the legitimate journal from Hong Kong. And one issue of this journal is that they don't have an English version. So literally, if you don't know Mandarin, you might fall into this trap. So a lot of people have already published here, and they just wasted their money. So what is the difference between predatory and hijack journal? The better question to ask is, which one is the worst? And definitely the answer is hijack journal, because of the element of fraud. In 2020, Elsevier mistakenly indexed content that comes from a hijack journal. But then they're very smart. They remove it later on, which is the right way, but they remove it quite silently. And what happened to those people who published in the hijack journal? They lost their money, they lost their credibility. Yeah, worst ever. So what do you need to do? Again, like I told you earlier, for predatory journals, it's the same thing. You always ask the community. There are many ways you can ask. You can ask in ResearchGate, you can ask in Schema portal, you can even ask your supervisor, because I believe supervisor has the ability to distinguish between a fake and also a legitimate journal. So yeah, how I know that journal just now from Hong Kong is a fake one, I actually read their posts, the comments, and I noticed that, yeah, that is a fake one. And I also found the legitimate one from that post as well, under Schemago. I found it in Schemago. So there you go. Be careful. Now, why we should be maintaining our integrity in research is that, you see, the wrong things that we do today, we cannot guarantee that we can hide forever in the next 10 years because technology may catch up with us and we might get caught. That probably is the worst thing to happen when you are in the middle of a promotion. Yes, that has happened before in 2014. Let's make a lesson and yes, keep our integrity the highest possible. Um, so yeah, like I said, ethics, publication ethics is ever changing with the change of technology. So you have to get to the forefront of the news of what can be done and what cannot be done. And most of all, yeah, talk to the supervisor. They should be the one who knows firsthand. And of course, you cannot run away. Some people may not follow the way we do. They are not very ethical in what they do. The first thing that we should do is that maintain your self integrity. Don't follow. I know there are temptation for you to follow because you're desperate, but you always pay to always abide from the rule because you never know when things may catch up. So okay, my final word to you: if you have doubt whether or not what you do is correct or not in terms of publication, always ask your supervisor. There are many people that you can refer to. If you found somebody who's doing it, don't join them, stop them. Okay? But if you are the one who is doing it and now only you know, it's okay. Just stop now and don't continue. Everything will be fine. Okay. So with that, I will end my talk by showing you this thing. Because I know in the end, in 1 or 2 years' time, you will need to publish 1 or 2 papers. So where can you publish? Probably these journals. Now, these are all published in UITM. And the editors, they're also UITM staffs. And I understand that you might want to aim for Web of Science or Scopus journals, which you can see right here. The top 4 from the left, these are index journal. But I think nowadays, My Site Journal also is recognized. And we have 41 of them. So send your manuscript, send it to them, have them evaluated. And if you get yourself published in one of these journals, consider yourself done with one KPI and just work a few more, then you're eligible for your oral examination. So no need to cheat, no need to violate any regulation in research publication. Just publish as it used to be and publish earlier. So with that, thank you for your time. I know I have talked, yeah, I think just at the right time. So there you go. This is all I need to tell you about research publication. And I believe we are going on to the next session. So I give the stage back to the chairperson of the session for Q&A.
Dr. Yong, there's one question at the comment box.
Check. So let me first read the question. Okay, I'm sorry, I need some clarification. It means that the right way to write is to create a sentence with our own words that conveys the same idea as the author, right? Now, if you are writing in chapter 2, for example, literature review, or maybe chapter 3 that describes the method. Yes, originality may not be an important thing where you need to describe there, given that most likely you're going to refer to the source, but it always pays that you use your own word, yeah, in terms of originality. For the sake of originality, I would say. I believe that you can make your own sentence. But here's a question. You may ask me, can you use Quillbot? The answer is yes, but don't forget to cite. Always cite the source. At least you can get away with half of the guilt. Yeah, not exactly that guilty again. I hope that answer Hazira's question. I'm moving on to the next question. If we create a research paper based on our thesis for publication, then once we submit our thesis to turn it in for plagiarism checking, we'll detect our own published paper. What should we do in this situation? Okay, I perfectly understand. Because the publisher and also IPSIS may use turn it in to check plagiarism. Yeah, I think in this case, supervisor should be well trained on how to use Turnitin. Because if I am going to submit your work um, for journal publication or maybe even for thesis for your Viva later on, I will not agree to deposit your paper as part of the database in Turnitin that will be used later on for similarity check. So whenever you submit a manuscript later on, it won't be picked up because it's never in the Turnitin's database. So that should be the best way to avoid it. But let's say if you happens now, if you say this thing, that means some way, somehow, either yourself or maybe your supervisor has deposited your thesis or paper in Turnitin database. So it got picked up. So you detect high similarity in Turnitin when you check your thesis. But that's not really an issue also. Because according to IPSIS, the supervisor will have to sign a form acknowledging the similarity index of your thesis. Like for me, I also, for some reason, I don't know why, my student's thesis pick up very high similarity index. So I check one by one. Turns out that one of the source is exactly the student's journal paper that has been published earlier. I suspect that that manuscript, when we submitted to the editor checked in Turnitin and they make it, they put it in database. So maybe that happened. So what happened to me? No big issue. I'll just remove and exclude that source, and the similarity comes down to an acceptable level. So what I did, IPSIS gave me a form. I signed it off, acknowledging that the correct similarity index, the one that I remove the source, then yeah, everything goes through. The student also get a chance to for oral examination. No big deal. Yeah. But the supervisor have to double check lah, yeah. Okay, so next question. Hello, doctor. Know what an insight for sharing. My question is, you mentioned about the ethics of publishing in predatory journal. How about citing from predatory journal? Because systematic review is a method to review without any bias. Wait, let me imagine. Without any bias, what is your opinion on that one? Okay, my opinion, first one is, you're not encouraged to cite from a predatory journal on the first important reason. Because the way predatory publisher works, they neglect the quality control. So we, as researcher, we have a trust deficit on that part. When we look at the publisher itself, automatically we're put off. We have no interest at all to cite any articles published by that publisher because of the lack of quality control. Again, why did this happen? Because there's a damage in their reputation, and we don't even know what they publish is accurate. So that's why I would encourage you not to cite, but if you have to, my recommendation to you is that you double check. You double check with another source from a reputable journal that have no connection with public predatory publishing practices. You double check. If they all agree, then probably you can cite again. If you have to cite the predatory journal, okay, so be it. But I would prefer you, if I'm your supervisor, I prefer you to cite from a reputable source. Yeah. I don't think predatory journal is that good enough that we have to cite it. So you always have a better choice. So yeah, spend some time, check. Yeah. Okay, next. Thank you for your session. What to do when supervisor or co-supervisor wants to be the first author, even the student who wrote and did the work in the paper. What the sequence in relation to the student SV? Okay, good question. You have to discuss with your supervisor why he or she has to be the first author. Well, I understand why, because being a first author get more rewards kan. I know. But being a UITM staff, you don't have to be the first author. Even being a second author, yeah, even being a second author is acknowledged by the UITM management as first author for UITM staff. So I don't know why your probably your supervisor wants to be the first. No, doesn't necessarily. Because for us staff, it is even more important to become a corresponding author. So that's why I always think that student will always have the first author. However, there was one case in my experience that I disagree that student to become the first author because of this reason. Okay, number one, that students only go to the lab, collect data with no interpretation, just collect data. So once the thesis is submitted, also no interpretation. So what I did, the data is still okay, good. I interpreted the whole data all by myself, not, I mean, the idea, the interpretation, not even from the student, is from myself. And that student become a second author and I'm the first author. So these are the reason why sometimes your supervisor disagree on this ground. So whatever that happens kan, between you and your supervisor, always negotiate. If your supervisor is not happy, okay. So I think that is all from the chat. Oh wait, there's one more. Okay. Is it only us as first author will consider that student participate in journal publication? If second or third not count? Okay, if I understand your question correctly, no, I have encountered examples that in one journal publication, it's a collaborative project in which that manuscript consists of data that are collected by more than one student. For example, there's one paper that I'm operating. There are 3 students who are collecting it. So yeah, that's a dilemma for me as well, because when they collected equally, all of them they're important, they're collected equally. You don't know which one to put first or third or whatever. Okay? In the end, you have to sit down with them. I sit down with them and I thought, okay, now let's agree on something that are difficult like this one. I will propose to them who I think should be the first author based on the difficulty, the time that they have spent, and also the work that they have given to collect those data. So of course, the one that works the most, I will propose them as the first author. And then the second and the third and so on. Now, in terms of credit, fortunately, this paper is by an undergraduate student, so they don't really mind if they are first, second, or third author. However, being a postgraduate student, you always have to make sure that you are the first author. And I think this one would not have any conflict because by right, according to IPSIS regulation, each student should publish their own paper. Now, if you want to collaborate with another postgraduate student to publish a second paper, someone have to back down. The easiest way to see this, whether or not you should stay or back down, is ask yourself, that project, who does it belongs to? Does it belongs to student A or student B? There's no way you can work on the same project. No way. So from there, the students, I mean, if that project ownership is by student A, then student A should be the first author. So I don't think there's any issue with this one. Yeah. The only issue that I have is with my undergraduate student, the final year project students who jointly publish that one paper. So I think that would be the last question in the chat box. Yeah, I think we are done. Seems like there's nobody wants to switch on the microphone. Okay, so there's one more question coming in. So let me see. My supervisor has an opposite opinion on citing predatory journals. I am aware of the status of that particular journal, but my supervisor said it's okay on what I do not remember, so I proceed as usual and already drafted a paper that I synthesized. Okay. Uh, I I I I would strongly encourage my students to cite from a reliable source. For very simple reason why we don't cite from Wikipedia. Okay? If you can relate that, well, we always cite from journal. Why? Because we trust them. Wikipedia, anybody can write anything, right? So probably predatory journal is that one. Yeah, this is just a different opinion. But yeah, if you have already done it and you have drafted a paper, just wait. Just wait. Wait for the reviewer's opinion. If the reviewer felt the same way as your supervisor, then okay, then just let it be. But you see, these are opinions, I would say. Opinions based on different individual. Like for me, I would try my best to avoid from predatory journals or what they have to say. If I want to use the information, like I said, I will have to do extra work to double check the validity of what they say in those papers. Okay. Okay, I hope that's all question for Dr. Leong. Okay, so I think that should be all. So with that, I end my talk today by saying thank you very much once again for your time to listen and also the question that you posted. Those are very good questions, so thank you. So with that, I pass it back to Madam Chairperson of the session.
Thank you, Dr. Yong. And then we go to our last module for today, module number 7, with our speaker, Mr. Muhammad Zaidi Barden, with the title Research Database.
Okay,
Mr. Zaidi, you may start if you are ready.
all right. So can anybody hear my voice?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I've already shared my slide. So can you see my slide?
Haven't yet.
Wait, ah. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabbihi ajmain. Okay, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Zaidi bin Mardan. I'm a senior librarian in Pustaka UiTM Shah Alam. And as for today, I'm going to share with all of you in terms of on how you can access for the resources, of course. During this time, you want to do your research. And of course, you need to know where you need to go in order for you to find the resources. So I'm going to explain. So in UiTM, our library, we call it as PITA, Perpustakaan Tun Abdul Razak, or in short PITA. So in order for you to access for all the resources, first you just need to browse in, open your browser and just type in UiTM library. So just click the first hit UiTM library. Okay, for my session, I'm going to do a more on hands-on the stimulations, step by step on how you can, where you need to do, where you need to go in order to access for the resources. So this is our UiTM library portal. So our formal URL is library.uitm.edu.my. So this is our URL. So this is going redirect you into our UiTM library portal. So of course, you can explore more in each site or within this UiTM library portal, I believe that they're going to have some extra information that's going to be useful for you. But related with anything, any resources, either in the form of physical or in the form of digital, consists of online databases, journal, and so on. Every single resources we are segmented and we are organize them within this section, which is the learning sections. So you go to this learning and then you go to this MyKM. Okay, MyKM. So MyKM is stands for My Knowledge Management. Okay, in order for you to access to our resources, first you're going to log in first into this first door where we need to ensure only students who are within the UiTM community will have the privilege in using our resources, because in order for us to maintain, subscribe all this database, we are consuming a very huge amount of money. You are spending millions of ringgit. Because of that, we want to ensure only UiTM communities have the privilege in using of all of these resources. So we are providing you with these two options. Either you can click in, sign in by using your Gmail UiTM address, or you using your iStudent portal information. And of course, because you have been entitled as a student, you need to know this information, not your personal Gmail UiTM Gmail, but your UiTM Gmail address. So as for me, I'm going to sign in by using the Gmail UiTM address. Okay, because I think we are short in terms of the time, so I'm going to make it fast lah, my sessions. So this is MyKM, My Knowledge Management Personalized Educations. So it's going to consist any other information that going to be useful for you. But today in today's session, I'm going to specifically towards our resources. So in order to find all the resources that are available, you need to go to this site, information resources. So you just click information resources and then you go to online database. So this is online databases. So it's going to redirect you into all databases that be subscribed, that be maintained by UiTM library. So actually we have 18 for the current state. We have these 18 databases, where even though it's 18, we are consuming more than 6 or 7 millions of ringgit each year in order to maintain these databases. So meaning that is very a lot in terms of the money that PITA has spent. So because of that, you need to fully utilize this privilege. You need to use this well, because if not, it's going to be such a waste in terms of the money that we're spending. So of course, we have 18 databases. Maybe some of you will think which databases is most suited with your particular field that you have to attend. Like, so these are the field. We have divided it. We have organized it according to the topic. So if you want to know which database that suit with your field, you can just click here. We have architectures, education, Islamic, and so on. For example, for today's session, I'm going to make related with the sports creation, for example. So these are the 4 databases that related with the sports creation. So you can explore this field according to this topic. So you're going to filter it down towards the particular databases that suit with your field. So I've been informed that in today's session, I'm going to give talk specifically to Scopus, but I think actually there are many other databases that have been provided, because all of these databases, in terms of its quality, we cannot deny anymore. Its quality, its credibility, okay, it's the authenticity, we cannot deny. All of these databases is a prestige platform, so you can explore more. But because of the information that has been given to me, I need to explain more on this purpose. So I go to this databases purpose. So I go to this select. So it's going to redirect you into the platform, Scopus platform. Okay. Sorry for the wait. Maybe there's some, network issues here. But before this session, actually, I have tried. And all of them work. Don't know, maybe when the time comes, the technical problem happen. Let's wait. There's some technical issues. Just wait, my colleague try to contact the technical. Okay, maybe I will explain more on WAS first. WAS is Web of Science. Actually, in terms of its um, the level, WAS is in the first place, and then Scopus in terms of its prestige, but it's just the same. But before I'm going to go deeper in explaining the search technique, when you are trying to search for the information, there's something that I need to clarify first in terms of its character. Okay, Web of Science and Scopus is different from any other databases that we provided, because Web of Science and also Scopus is an index databases, meaning that every single information they provided, they're going to pop up whenever you are trying to search something within the search box. It's going to come in the form of metadata, meaning that it's going to provide you with all the metadata. But whenever you are trying to access for the full text, it's going to have some link that's going to redirect you into the original publication, the original page of that publisher. Meaning that it's depend. Meaning when you are using the WAS and also the Scopus, the tendency where the article that you want maybe is not within the subsection of your item level, because WAS and Scopus, they are like a house and they're indexing all of these high impact journal and publication. And of course, in our world, we have thousands of publication, high impact journal publication, and it's impossible for PITA to have publication or subscription towards all of them. Because of that, the tendency of that particular information, you won't able to get the full text might happen. Okay, but what if you came across with that situation? What PITA can do in order to help you? So actually, we have certain services that we call it as interlibrary loan. So interlibrary loan is a services where you're going to request that particular article that you didn't able to get because it's within our subscription, it's not within our subscription, and we're going to blast. We're going to blast that particular articles into every single RPTA and RPTS in Malaysia. Okay, we will try to get that particular information that you want. So how to use this interlibrary loan? So you go to this MyKM and then you go to this services. Okay, and then you click here OPEC. So interlibrary actually it's available within OPEC. So it's going to redirect you into these informations. Okay, and then you go to here interlibrary loan in your left hand side. Okay, interlibrary loan. So it's going to be like this. Okay, right after that you click here add request. Okay, add request, and this is the field that you need to fill in. Lending library and also location, this just put PITA, Perpustakaan Tun Abdul Razak, because there's so many options here. You just put Perpustakaan Tun Abdul Razak. Okay. Okay, this Perpustakaan Tun Abdul Razak. This location here also Perpustakaan Tun Abdul Razak. Okay. Okay, PITA. So this is the information that is important for you to fill in. The title, you need to ensure that the information is right, the right one, the correct one. Title, the authors, remark, why you need these articles, and also the type, either it's book or articles. Okay, right after that, you click submit. Okay, submit here. So every single transactions, in terms of the process, we're going to inform you within your UITM Gmail address. Because of that, you need to alert towards your UITM Gmail address. So we're going to inform you, okay, your request on this particular articles in particular date we have submitted or we have blasted into which RPTA or RPTS. So we're going to wait for their information or confirmation, either the article is available or not in their places. So all this transaction we need to make it available for you, not more than 14 days of work. It's not more than 14 days of work because it's within our piagam pelanggan. So these are the services that we provided if the case you want those articles and it's not available within either Scopus or WAS. Okay, so I've explained to you. So I'm going to go to this WAS, Web of Science. So the main features, if you want to search for the article, is in here, document. And of course, this researcher, if you have that significant name of authors, so maybe your supervisors want you to get that particular information, resources from that particular authors, so you know that exact name, so you can also fill in by using the name. But right now, I'm going to use the documents. Okay. Usually for students who doesn't maybe attend classes, between classes, maybe in terms of the searching technique, maybe you just have a basic searching technique. So for example, okay, I want to find something related with coronary artery disease, for example. So I type in coronary artery disease. Okay, for example, like this. Okay, and then I click search. So it going to shows you 2004 241,241 result. It's so huge in terms of the quantity. Okay, so actually a simple technique that you can tweak in within your search is that for any keywords that it is a specific keywords and you want it to be side by side. For example, this keywords, coronary artery disease. You want coronary artery and disease to be side by side. Actually, you need to put the quotation mark here. So this is the simple technique, but it gives a very huge differences in terms of your search hit. See, from 241,000 tadi, it's reduced until 164,000 result. 100,000 result less than before. Okay, that's one. Coronary artery disease. Okay, first, usually the field that been given, the default field that been given by an online databases, it is going to stick with all field, meaning that coronary artery disease, it will find to any single information within article, but it's scattered around. Either it can be in the form in the title or in the form in the keywords, also in the abstract, meaning that it's scattered around. So these are the tips that you need to do. Some of the tips you need to do. First, if students attend to my literacy classes, I'm going to show you 3 layers of searching. First, I want to ensure that the title need to be included within the title. The keywords need to be included within the title. That is first. So I need to change. I will change it first into title here. Okay, coronary artery disease. Okay, then I click search. Okay, meaning that it will shows you with a result where the words coronary artery disease, it need to be available within the first title. Okay, that's one. And then, of course, in your level, usually the topic that you want to make your research on, basically it's not just going to cover that one particular topic. Usually it's going to have a combination between maybe 2 or 3 topics. For example, I want to find certain articles where it covers about coronary artery disease and also exercise, maybe, for example. So actually the right searching technique, whenever you try to find something, you don't have to put in the lengthy word, all of those lengthy words, maybe the words for and the, those are, we call it as a stop word or join word. We don't need to use that. You just need to fill in or key in the keywords only. For example, this is one keywords, coronary artery disease. And then I put this exercise, for example. Okay, and then I combine these 2 keywords with Boolean operator. So this is the usage of Boolean operator. Boolean operator consists of and, or, and also not. So these are the 3 Boolean operator. But I think the most useful one is and. Okay, so I'm going to combine this coronary artery disease and also exercise and use and, meaning that only articles that consist within the statement of that article, maybe in the abstract or the essence of the article that cover these two particular topic. Only the article that cover these two particular topic going to come up in the search hit, search result. So I'm going to do it like this. And then I click search. See, so it's going to have 2000 plus in terms of its search result, but it definitely going to give you the in terms of its hits for the title, it will compulsory need to include these two topic, exercise and coronary artery disease, exercise and coronary artery disease. You see? So this is the first layer. Okay. Then, of course, whenever you are trying to find an article, usually the aboutness of article going to be illustrated first in the title, and then of course in the abstract. So these are the field that you can add within the Web of Science. Okay, you add another field. So this is for the title, and of course you add another field. So this filter you change into abstract. See, abstract. And I put these two keywords here. So by default, when I'm doing like this, I've given an instruction or command to the system. I want article where the title need to cover these two particular topic. And also the abstract also need to cover these two particular topic. It's compulsory to have the article need to have this scenario, and these two topic, title and abstract, is being combined with the Boolean operator and, meaning that it's compulsory for the article to have this thing. Okay, then I click search. See, so it's going to reduce from 2000 plus result into 1000 plus result, but the result is very narrowed down. It's very towards specific what you really want, because this is in nature when we are trying to search resources related with the academic writing. Okay, you want to reduce your time in doing all of those thorough reading. So by doing this, you see, in terms of the abstract, going to more filter towards what you really want. See, this is the abstract, and also about the title and also the abstract. So this is the second layer. Okay, the third layer, you can also add another row. So usually when you are exploring to any other databases, these are the three filters that you need to look at. First, the title, abstract, and lastly is the keywords. So you need to put in the keywords. Okay, author's keyword, right? And also you also apply the same scope of topic that you want to search on. Okay, so meaning that in this situation, I'm giving instruction to the system. I want all the hit. It is compulsory within the structure of that hit, that result. First, the title need to have these two things. Also, the abstract and also the author's keyword also need to have these two things. Meaning that for every single searching, actually, of course, you will obtain the result. And those are you also can able to read and also download the articles. But if you're making like this, the quality, you make your hit to be more diversified, of course, and you will have more search in terms the result in terms of what you're searching for. So then I click search. So see, 259 result, but for every single information that available here, it's going to be straightforward and specifically toward what you really want. So it's in here, keywords, exercise and coronary artery disease. Okay. So this is one. So those are one of the way on how you can search for your information. Usually in any other databases, they're going to have that basic search and also advanced search. So the demonstration that I'm showing to you right now is some like a advanced search where you adding more role and also the filtering angle, which those keywords need to be exist within the articles. So that is one. So after you have found the articles, where you need to go in order to extract those articles, like I mentioned to you, WAS and also Scopus is an index databases, meaning that it provided the metadata, but where you need to go in order to get the full text. As you can see, this is the link where you will able to get the full text. pre-published article from repository or full text at publisher. So whenever you are click this information, so it's going to redirect you into the original page of that publication. So this is where that I've mentioned you before, the tendency maybe those publication is not within the subsection of Pita UiTM library. Also, as you can see here, you need to do some exploration first. So this is the PDF and then you can download it. But if there's still some information about the fee that you need to pay first in order to you extract those article, meaning that it's not within subscription, though you can apply the interlibrary loan that I mentioned before. So those are the ways. So we will try to get the article for you. Okay. So I'm very sorry, maybe Scopus. We've got some. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, Scopus is back. Okay, so this is Scopus. Okay, Scopus. So I've already explained to you on Web of Science. Okay, maybe I need to explain a little bit more. So those are the process if you want to search for the information. So what about, of course, you are in the process of you need to publish your writing into a publisher of publish your papers into a journal that within the list of either Web of Science or Scopus. So in which angle that you need to go in Web of Science if you want to extract the name of the listed journal, then be indexed in Web of Science. So in Web of Science, you need to go to this place. Okay, you go to this product, and then you go to this either master journalist or also journal citation report. So these are the two places that you need to go in order to get the list of index journal in Web of Science, because we librarian frequently be asked about the list of Web of Science journal, listed journal. We will never able to provide those lists because the list is dynamic. It's going to change through time. So you need to look for it in master journalist or journal citation report. So for example, you go to master journalist. Okay, so it will appear like this. Okay. Okay, you either search journal if you have that particular title or you have already know certain ISSN and you want to just to make sure either that journal is being listed in WAS journal, you also can just provide it here or you just click search journal. Okay, so these are all the listed journal that be indexed in WAS. Frequency, open access, category. Okay, so these are the filtering. So you can check it here or use Journal Citation Report, JCR. Okay, you also can check whether those journal been indexed in WAS or not in here. So for example, you go to this journal. So it's going to show you the list of journal, or you can filter it out here if you want to shows the journal according to the quartile. Okay, you can see here and tick the information about the quartile and apply. So you can explore this interface in order for you to know the exact journal that been listed in WAS or Web of Science. So that is Web of Science. So I'm going to go, I will go back into Scopus. So this is Scopus. Actually, the basic in terms of its search, it's similar to Web of Science. Usually, for features that related with searching, it's available here, search in search. So when you click search, it will provide you with these 4 options. Either you want to check or type in those topics by using document, or you have that particular authors, you are already been given a name, so you can check by using name, Also researcher discovery, if you already have certain keywords, okay, and also organization. This is if you want to check for written article within organization. For example, UiTM, and so on. For example, in documents, okay, I'm going to give you the simulation just I've been given you just now. Okay, for example, first you need to go to the article title first. For example, okay, maybe I want to find something about artificial intelligence. Okay, artificial intelligence, and I click search. So it came out with 72,000 plus of result. Okay. And like I've mentioned before, if it is a specific term, okay, you need to put the quotation mark, meaning that you want this artificial intelligence to be side by side. And then you click search. Okay. So you have narrowed it down, but you ensure these keywords need to be appear within the title. So artificial intelligence, it need to be appear within the title. Okay, then maybe you want to find something about artificial intelligence and it's related with maybe machine learning. You can also provide those keywords. Machine learning. And also, machine learning is a specific term, right? You want it to be side by side, also put the same method, quotation mark. Okay. Search. So artificial intelligence and machine learning, it is compulsory for the result to have these two keywords and it need to be available within the title. Okay, artificial intelligence and machine learning. So also the same, you can narrow it down. You give a command to system where these keywords need to be available within title and also need to be available within the abstract. And you click search. Okay, this. So it's going to be appear within the abstract, not just in the article title, but also in the abstract. Same goes, you can put the keywords and apply the same technique. So these are the three layers of searching. Okay, so it's going to be narrowed down. But for every single layer, you're going to get the search result. And of course, those going to be resourceful for you as your adding sources in your assignment. So if this is the assignment, the article that you want, you click here. Okay, right after that, you go to this section, full text options. Okay, full text option, and it click view and publisher. So it's going to redirect you into the original publisher of that article. Okay, Science Direct is within the subscription of the UiTM, so you can have the access to the full text of this article. So this is corpus. For authors, okay, you need to bear in mind, okay, not all researcher or lecturer, maybe not just yet for them to have the article to be indexed in Scopus. So because of that, you need to have that significant person, maybe it's a prominent writer or expert within your field, and you can search their name in order to get what are the work that have been done by using that related with their experience. For example, the prominent writer in UiTM, Ali Jawad. Okay, Prof. Ali Jawad, I search. Okay, the method on how you can search for their name. First, you need to put the first name in the back of the box and their family name in the first box. Those are the way. And then you click search. So this is the information about Prof. Ali Jawad. You click his name. Okay, so it's going to provide you with the profile in terms of the productivity of this person. Okay, and this is all the listed article that been indexed in that work of this person and been indexed in Scopus. Okay. So if you want to have this article, you go to view at publisher. You're going to redirect you into the original page. Okay, and same goes, you click to download UPF to download. This is Scopus. Searching based on author. Okay, this is researcher discovery, also the same, but this specifically towards keywords. For example, artificial intelligence. Okay, enter keywords. Click here. So they're going to list you according to the writer that mostly that productive in also making a writing related with this topic. Okay. So you click here, number of matching documents. So we're going to redirect you into the paper. Okay, like this. So of course, you want to look about the general aboutness, brief information, you click abstract. If you want to direct, go to the original or the full text, you go to this view at publisher. Okay, and download the paper. Okay, one of the way, if we want to filter out the result based on what is the most, what are the paper that most been cited or been referred by people who are also looking at this particular paper, you can always sort by here. Sort by, you go to cited by highest. Okay, meaning that the arrangement going to be according to the most popular article that be cited or also been referred by other people. Of course, whatever that been indexed in Scopus is best among the best. All of this is a high impact article within high impact journal. So in terms of its quality, credibility, we cannot deny it anymore. But if you want to see what is best among the best, you can also filter it out in here. Okay, cited by highest. Okay, so those are one of the technique. Okay, researcher discovery, and lastly is organization. Of course, you want to find certain article that been written by person within that organization, so you can use these features organization. For example, University Technology Mara. Okay, here. So it's going to show you some analytic informations. So for the highest field in UiTM in terms of the paper that the index in Scopus is related with the engineering field. Okay, engineering. So this is the amount of papers, 14,000. So this is all the papers. Okay. So of course, you need to explore more in terms of the filtering features that are available here. Okay. In order to narrow it down. Okay. And if it's useful for you, like before, view at publisher, and then you will redirect into the original page of that publication, and you can download the informations. Okay, yes, download PDF. Okay, this is Scopus organization. Okay, so these are all the options that are available in terms of searching for articles, documents, authors, researcher discovery, and also organization. It's just that in terms of document, you need to know how to add more filtering field in order for you to minimize or narrow it down in order for you to get the result that most suit with your information needs. Okay, something that if now you are on the journey where you need to always be updated in terms of the newest information related with the particular thing that you want to conduct the study on. So actually, there are also some features here. So whatever the searching that you have done, it will provide you with the history here. Okay. For example, these are the things that you need to always be updated if there are some new in terms of the article that we publish. So you can always set alert here. Okay, set alert. But in order for you to set alert, you need to sign in first. Okay, you sign in. If you already have a Mendeley account, you just use the same account. Okay, for example, I'm very sorry. Maybe there's some technical problem related with Scopus. Okay, so I've been assigned. I've been signed in. So for example, these are the search ring where the result is most reliable towards what you really want. So you can set alert so that for every single new article going to be informed directly toward your the address, the Gmail address that you have created within your account. For example, this here, okay, this is my email address. So you can set your frequency, either it's every day, every week, or in which day, either it's the day or you can set it here and you can set search alert. Meaning that for every single time you have already set up your setting here, it's going to alert you if there are some newer in terms of the resources that are available related with the topic that you want. So I think it's very useful for you because of course, maybe you are on your PhD journey, these 3 long years, you're going to need to be updated with all the newer information. So I think this is going to be very useful for you. So that is Scopus. So I think basically, I have explained to you all the features that is necessary for you to know for the Scopus and also Web of Science. Okay, just one more. Of course, there's also a requirement for you right now where you need to publish your paper. And of course, Scopus is one of the platform that is within the requirement. If you are able to publish your paper within the journal that been published in Scopus, in Scopus. But where you need to go in order to get the list of those journal, you need to go here, sources. Okay, you click sources. Okay, and then it's going to show you this information. So this is all the journal that be indexed in Scopus. Okay, you can explore it a little bit more in terms of the quartile. Okay, if you already know the exact ICSS number, you already know the exact title, you can search in by those information. But if you didn't know, okay, you only know your fields is related with what, okay, you can filter it down by using this subject area. For example, for art and humanities, you apply, so it's going to change the journal according to that field. Okay, and then you need to click it first. Okay, not just rely 100% on what been listed because you need to click it first. Okay, so the most important part is here, the range of year. You need to ensure that it been indexed until 2024 because there's some cases where it shows maybe until 2020. So you need to ensure that the range of year of this journal been indexed in Scopus. Make sure this information is correct. So these are where you need to go in order to get the journal that be indexed in Scopus sources. Okay. So I think that's all related with Scopus. So because we have extra time, I'm going to explain about the quartile being listed. Okay, if you want to know about the quartile for the journal being in Scopus, that in the Scopus, also the same provided here. Okay, it's also the same provided here. For example, you want to know what are the journal that been listed in first quartile, you apply this first quartile. I'm going to show you the journal in first quartile and so on. Okay. So information resources, actually we have any other we have other services that been provided to you, not just online databases. For example, if you want to have your resources and or resources in the form of ebook, we also provide you in terms of the resources in the form of ebook. You click here. So this is all the ebooks that are available that be subscribed or be purchased by PITA. So you can explore it more. For example, if related with engineering side, so this is all the ebooks. Okay. Ebooks, online database, ebook, and also open access discovery. I think this is also one of underrated services that we provided. Okay. Open access discovery is actually a platform that been developed by our IT team where it has indexed all the open source, all the resources that are available in the open source out there, but it segmented it according to this field. For example, if you want to have anything related with the computer and mathematical science, you click here. So it's going to list you with the alphabetical list of the keywords that is necessary and available within the syllabus of that program. So I think this also some of the resources that might be useful for you. So for example, you click here. So it's going to redirect you into all the resources in the open sources out there where it already been listed in alphabetical list. Okay. For example, get full text. Okay, this is some of the example. Okay, so you can explore more. This is open access discovery. Okay, resources. And if you want to seek for thesis that be made by our UiTM community, you also can go to this UiTM institutional repository, UiTM thesis. Okay, you submit. So we have a full thesis that been digitized. Okay, you can search for all the thesis here. For example, okay. Okay, like this. So these 402 pages from cover to cover, you will have a full text, full access, okay, for this thesis. So I think this is one of the resources that might be useful for you. So every single resources is available within this information resources. So you can just explore more. All of these features available here. Okay, and then services. Okay. Beside resources, we Librarian in PITA also providing you with the extensive literacy classes. Either you can make those classes face-to-face or also in online classes, online session. So in order for you to book for the classes, you can go to these services and then eKKM booking class. Okay, these services is free of charge and you can booking these classes according to your availability. Okay. So right now we have more than 11 modules. So you can choose this to related with your information needs. For example, online databases or EndNote or Mendeley, anything. So you can choose it here and you apply the class locations. Okay. and also you set the time, either it's going to be face-to-face or online, and then you submit. Okay, so the person in charge is going to get the request from you, and maybe if that time is not available for them, they will contact you to get the right time. So I think this also one of the services that might be useful. Okay. So in terms of resources, it's available here. In terms of services, it's going to be available here. So you can just explore in order to get the essence of all of this content. So is it okay? I think for me, I think that's all for me. Do we have any questions? Okay, chat. Okay, how can we view journal quota ranking? I think I am showing to you just now. Questions. Okay, is there any other questions? From YouTube asking about ebook. Okay, ebooks, like mentioned before, okay, you just, of course, every single resources when you are already go to our MyKM, MyKM is just like a one-stop center in terms of our resources. So for ebook, every single information, every single resources, we located them in here, information resources. For ebook, you just go to this information, ebook. Okay, you click, and then it's going to redirect you into the ebook platform. Okay, for example, I want to find about, you can either key in the keywords here, or you can choose according to your field first, science and tech, business management, and so on. But if you didn't know those topic is located in which book, in which section, in which field, you can just type in this search box. For example, artificial intelligence. For example, I just search artificial. Okay, click search. So it's going to show you the amount of hit that related with the topic that you want. For example, here you click view full text. Okay, usually if it's ebook, it will come you, it will illustrate you in the form of segmented of chapter, but you can download all of those chapters. See, download, like this. Of course, newer generation prefer all of this e-material. Okay, I hope that answering the questions. Is there any other questions? Okay. Okay, I think if there is no question, I hope the sharing that has been given to you will able to help you in your research journey in terms of providing with the resources that are available. If you have any other queries or questions, you can always go to our chat with librarian and ask whatever question there. If it's within our capability to answer, we will answer it. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Zaidi, for your sharing.
Okay, so actually in the chat section, my colleague have given some attendance list. So maybe the attendee can fill in those information. So I think if there is no question, I think that's all for me, and thank you so much.
Thank you. For participant, you need to fill in 2 links for this module number 7. One is from PITA and another one is from IPSIS. For module number 7, there will be no assessment, but you need to fill in 2 links, one from PITA and another one from IPSIS. I also already put in the chat box the link.
Nas, share QR module 5.
Module number 5. Okay. Module number 3 and number 4 will be tomorrow. Not yet, huh? We are currently showing module number 5. Today we have 4 modules. Module 1, Module 2, Module 5, and Module 7. Module 7, we didn't have any assessment, but we have 2 links. One link from PITA and one link from IPSIS.
Puan, attendant pita tu kat mana ya?
Scroll atas sikit ni, dekat comment box ni ada PITA punya link. Daripada Puan Iza Eliana. Saya nak stop sharing kak. Kakak, macam mana nak stop? Okay, tekan warna merah.
Sorry, a question. We must
Can
do
share.
only the assessment for 5 and the model number 7 only?
Zai.
Yes.
Yang tu. Apa dia? Sorry?
We must do only two things here now, assessment model number 5 and model number 7 for only these two.
Today we have 4 module. Module 1, module 2, module 5, module 7.
Okay, I do it all. But for attendance, we have only the last one.
Or you want to get module 1 and module 2 again?
I completed 1 and 2.
Now you want what?
A complete model.
Complete. Later we will give you marks lah.
Okay, thank
You
you.
already get your marks right? Once you finish the answer.
Wah,
Okay.
boleh share balik modul 5 tak? QR code
Modul 5.
hilang.
Assalamualaikum.
Ada.
Hello.
Ya.
Nas,
Puan Izal.
Nas dekat YouTube tak
Ah,
dapat link pita tu.
Dah bagi dekat Kak Zai. Nanti Kak Zai paste dekat. Dah. Kak Zai dah post dekat YouTube. Facebook. Aku nak stop sharing kak. Kakak, macam mana nak stop? Okay. Tekan warna merah.
Cuma link pita tu dia tak ada attendance lah Puan.
Do only the assessment for 5 and the model number 7 only?
Right.
Module
Yes.
7 no
Apa dia?
assessment for module 7, okay?
Sorry?
We must do only two things here now, assessment model number 5 and model number 7 for only these two.
Today we have 4 module. Module 1, module 2, module 5, module 7.
Okay, I do it all. But for attendance, we have only the last one.
Or you want to get module 1 and module 2 again?
I completed 1 and 2.
Hello, Puan. Boleh tak saya minta
One what?
attendance modul 1, 2 and 5?
Or complete. Later we will give.
Okay.
Excuse me, doctor.
For module. But you need to fill in 2 links. One from Pita and another one from Ipsis.
Yeah.
I also already put in the chat box. The link. Now, you are different.
Assalamualaikum, doctor. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Number 3 and number 4.
Yes, thank you, doctor. I would like to inquire about the PITAR tendency over there because I have issue with my activation email. UIT as a student here.
You need
So,
you need
sorry?
for activation email you need to do a report. We cannot help
Yes,
on
on the ICT, right?
Have you contacted the PITA?
Yes, on the city, ICT.
ICT?
On the ICT, I've
Yes.
been applied for the activation for the email, and I hope can manage with the solution as soon as possible.
Yeah, they are trying to help you as soon as possible. Hold on. In YouTube, Kuzaima, please share link, or you have problem to share the link because I cannot get the link.
Excuse me, can somebody answer how to get the attendance for PITA? Everyone been asking in the chat and nobody is answering.
I'm trying to attend to that question now, but being interrupted. Okay, sorry. Attendance section in PITA website. No, it's not in the PITA website. Okay, try to log into the attendance for module 7 PITA. Those in Zoom, those in YouTube, we are trying to get the QR. Okay, so those in Zoom, try now.
For PITA attendance, when we click the link, they will directly go to PITA website. And then
Okay.
it's only the front page of the PITA.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to fill in it myself. Wait, Okay, hold on. Okay, what I can do is, okay, I'm going to ask Pita again about the Pita survey. So I will upload it in the drive, in the shared drive. But tomorrow, I'm going to share another drive, which is accessible, hopefully accessible by everyone. It is a Google Drive rather than OneDrive. Because some of you have difficulties using your Microsoft account. So I'm going to upload in 2 drives, one in OneDrive and then another one in Google Drive. Okay, so those in YouTube, I'm trying to create the drive. So tomorrow, I'm going to share with all of you in both clusters the new drive. And the OneDrive is also, you can use the OneDrive as well. And those who cannot use the OneDrive or Microsoft account, you can use the Google Drive. It is the same material, and plus I'm going to put there the link for PITA website or for PITA assessment, or not assessment, PITA attendance. We are going to liaise with the PITA representative again for the correct address. The reason why I cannot provide Google Drive because it is very limited spaces there. Okay, it's not that I don't want to use that, but emergency I can use, but it's very limited and I cannot maintain that drive to have that particular folder for a long time. I'm going to delete it anyway. Okay, so tomorrow we will share again the link, the new link, OneDrive and Google Drive. Okay, inside there, I'm going to put all the QR code for today's assessment and today's attendance. Is it clear, everyone? Is it okay?
Yes, doctor, it's okay, but
Yes,
for me,
okay,
I
clear.
cannot be attended tomorrow because I couldn't register, and all it's like seats all full, registration. So I postponed it to August.
Sorry?
I cannot attend tomorrow.
If
So how
you cannot attend tomorrow, you cannot get the certificate. Okay, you need to receipt again.
even for today?
Yeah, you have to complete all 8 modules.
Yes, but I couldn't register for tomorrow. When I go through student app, it's
I'm
state
sorry.
like it's all full. I couldn't. register.
Close. Can you email pasp@uitm.edu.my? We will provide you the link for the tomorrow's meeting, so you can join.
Yes, I already emailed them, and they are said like I will email them again, but they are like saying me it's because it's full, so maybe they are not. But
I know your name, please.
Taha Suleiman, I go with Taha Suleiman.
I didn't receive your email. Where did you email?
I will 1 second, doctor.
Because I am the one who answered all the email regarding this seminar skill.
Yeah, 1 second. I will show you my email now. Yes, for IT TIE2.
No, it's not Thai Square. This is not Thai Square. This is
Yes,
research.
yes, but I cannot attend tomorrow. So for attendance today, I cannot fill the attendance today for today.
So you have to resit, or otherwise you need to complete. You cannot get the certificate for this particular semester. You need to repeat again. You need to continue to attend module 3, 4, and 6, 8 in
Yeah,
another November.
yes, in August, right?
Not August, November.
November.
Yes, we only have 2 sessions per semester.
Because here, doctor in the email said regarding TI2 for the semester is already closed and full. You can join the next semester, which will be held in the end of August.
It's Thai Square. It's not Thai Square. This is research skill seminar. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. I'm just my issue with doctor. I cannot be attend tomorrow, so I cannot be get the link. That's the whole issue.
Are you talking about the research skill seminar or Thai Square?
Research skills.
Okay, research skill, no in August. There's nothing in August.
Yes, I need the link for to prove that I've been attend. That's it, to prove my attendance. How can I get that link?
Link for research skill seminar? Do you mean that research skill seminar?
Yeah, for the 7th Peter. 7th module Peter.
For Peter, later I'm going to share. Okay, so please email to me, please. Email pasp@uitm.edu.my, please, since you are not attending tomorrow. Can you please do that?
Inshallah. The email doctor IBS
No, pasp@uitm.edu.my.
May you? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. Yeah. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
all. Thank you so much. Please refer to your schedule, and please tomorrow visit the correct link for your dedicated room. Tomorrow we are going to have 2 separate Zoom sessions, which will be held concurrently. One is for social science business management cluster, and another one for social science and technology. For those who have problems, those in YouTube who have problems getting the schedule, please, you can always email pasp@uitm.edu.my for the schedule, and we will be more than happy to provide you with the correct schedule. Those who can access the OneDrive, I have already uploaded the guideline which has a schedule there. You can refer that schedule as well. So hopefully tomorrow we will meet again. Those in YouTube today, tomorrow you are going to be in the Zoom session. Okay? All right. So those in Zoom session now.
Assalamualaikum Puan.
Ya.
Nak tanya. Itu yang tomorrow dia ada dua session kan?
Tak ada 1 session je. 2 session, what do you mean 2 session ya?
Dua session juga kata tadi yang siapa sains teknologi dan juga social
Sekarang Zoom kan? So you science technology tu.
Oh dia mana? Saya dapat kat mana tu nanti?
Dapat kat mana? Yang sekarang you dapat link ni dari mana?
Saya dapat link ni daripada itulah yang surat jemputan saya tu.
Dekat you tengok balik email ataupun email balik PASP, kita dah email dah semua schedule yang baru.
Okey.
OneDrive. Boleh masuk OneDrive tak?
Excuse me? Is it the same seminar held on last April?
Can you wait please? Cik Ahmad Kamal, dah resolve ke problem you?
Ya, saya cuba masuk yang link yang tu.
Okay. Kalau tak ada, kalau ada problem, just email PASP tu. Saya try reply.
Okey, insyaAllah.
Alright. So, Namarik, what is your question?
Is it the same seminar was at last April?
It is the same.
It is the same.
Yes.
Yeah, I attend that one.
So you don't need to attend more. You don't need, you have
Yeah,
to.
okay.
So tomorrow, no
Yeah.
need.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, welcome. So is there any other question?
Sorry, Doctor.
Yes,
I just attend on the Module 7 attendance and it's complete. But when I try to attend at BTR, they convert me to information resource.
Yeah, I know. I told you, I told everyone just now for
Yes.
PITA, we're going to get the new link from the
Okay,
PITA.
okay. I know. I thought you will make a new link now. Sorry. Thank you.
Because it will be provided by PITA, not me. Okay, so
Okay.
we were going to share it tomorrow.
InsyaAllah.
Salam, Puan. Maaf
Assalamualaikum.
ganggu. Saya nak tanya, link untuk besok Zoom yang kita dapat email tu ke?
Ya, dekat dalam email tu ada schedule kan, saya bagi attachment. Attachment Science Technology hari kedua.
Baik, terima kasih.
Alright, next siapa tadi?
Assalamualaikum.
Hi, Doctor.
Liu Yan, can you wait
Yeah.
a moment first?
Yeah. Because my major is art and design, so I don't know which pathway I will choose is the better.
Okay. From what program are you?
Pardon?
What program are you?
Room.
Sorry?
I use room. The part.
Yeah, you use, but I want to know if you are using Zoom, so you are coming from Science and Technology cluster. Okay, let me check which cluster are you from. Liu Yan.
Yeah, because my major is art and design.
Art and
So
is not using the Zoom. Art and design is a social science. So refer you for social science, okay?
Okay, I see. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Abdul Rahman.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Yeah, for the beta link, there is a closing bracket at the end of the link. Make sure everyone copy the whole link, including the closing bracket, so it will direct you to the attendance website.
Okay. So do you manage to fill in the form?
Yes. There's a closing bracket at the end of the link.
Okay, can you share the link, Abdul Rahman?
Yeah, it's shared in the chat.
Okay, can you share it again, please? Now?
Okay.
Thank you. Muaz, you can wait for all eight modules. We were going to take the average from there. It's not necessary that you fail one module, you fail all. Okay?
Doktor,
Ya.
for tomorrow seminar, kita guna link yang sama?
Tengok dekat dalam schedule. Saya ada bagi schedule tu kan? Kejap saya tengok schedule tu balik. Saya rasa sama tu. Kejap Ada terima email kan?
Sama. 25th and 26th.
Sebab saya tak nak generate banyak-banyak link, nanti salah.
Alright. The second one for the module 5. Belum share lagi dia punya seminar punya ni kan?
Dah?
Seminar punya material untuk modul 5 belum share lagi kan?
One part dah. Modified by Dr. Hasno dah. Dr. Yong belum.
Okay, saya akan check atas. Thank you, Doktor. Saya akan cari ke atas.
Try.
Alright, thank you.
Alright.
Assalamualaikum.
Yes. Waalaikumsalam.
Cik, for tomorrow session, will be model 3 and 4, right?
3, 4, 6, 7. 3,
3,
4,
4, 3, 4, 6,
and 8.
and 8. Okay.
Hmm. Okay, anything else? Okay, those yang dekat YouTube, if you don't have anything, you may leave the session. Alright, thank you so much. See you all tomorrow, okay? Please refer to your own schedule for tomorrow's link. Anything, contact PASP. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Dr.
Puan.
Mas.
Alright.